Welcome everybody to Advantage in Paradise, Campaign 2, Adrift in Aldhalor. I apologize for the wait. The Tech Goblins got us today, but thankfully the Tech Goblins also forgave us today, and we won't be as laggy as last week, just a little late. But this is our weekly actual play show set in our homebrew world of Aradun, particularly on the continent of Aldhalor. It's brand new, and hopefully you'll stick around and enjoy it. But I'm going to bring Shannon in now to talk a little bit about our partners. Shannon, take it away.
Hello! Hi, everybody. Happy Monday. Welcome to Paradise. I hope you all had a fabulous weekend and that you're ready for some epic D&D fun, because we are fighting some elemental raccoons today. Should be a good time. Get to showcase all of our skills as our new characters. But before we do that, I'm going to talk about our partners. Starting with Arcane Spectacles. Introducing Arcane Spectacles, your source for personalized D&D themed Christmas ornaments and top-notch tabletop RPG accessories. With the ability to personalize their ornaments with your D&D party's names, you will have a unique and memorable keepsake. They also offer dice mugs, wood spell trackers, wood dice belts, and more. Visit them at arcanespectacles.com. I can personally speak to their Christmas ornaments with their parties' names on them. I have 2 of them. I should have taken them down so I could show you, but I didn't. But trust me, they're up there. Go check them out. It's cool stuff. Next, we have the Underground Oracle Publishing. They are a best-selling, Emmy-nominated TTRPG publisher building new and exciting settings for the cipher system of every genre you can imagine. Each setting includes everything you need to explore its unique world, including lore, species, descriptor, foci, creatures, ciphers, artifacts, and all of the rules that you need to play. Their current focus is Harrow the Blighted Plain, a crystal punk fantasy setting filled with fungal oases, massive sand seas, and long-buried magitech. For as little as $3, you can join their Patreon and help shape Harrow in each of the worlds that they create. Go join the Patreon, support them. They are so creative and they just deserve it. Go do it. Do the thing. Next, we have Eddie Yorke. He's our character artist. You saw all of our brand new character art for this campaign on our starting screen. He's an illustrator based in the UK who makes art for games and books. To visit his portfolio and get in contact with him, visit eyorke.com. And just a couple of miscellaneous items before we begin. We are working to get our Campaign 1 backlog up to date. So if you're not already in our Discord, join our Discord, and I will tag everybody when stuff is released. I'm also in charge this season of putting up our VODs from this show. Episode 1 is already on YouTube, so you can go check it out there. We're also on Discord. We have recaps that Sean will write for each episode. Tonight's is not there yet, but don't worry, it will be there eventually. Promise. Don't worry, it's okay. It'll be there. So those are also easy ways to catch up. You can also watch the Power Hour on Sundays, where we pick on each other and recap the episode. It's a lot of fun. And yeah, join us in all the places: Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Discord, Instagram, TikTok, all the fun places. And yeah, that's it. That's all I got to say. Back to you, Dungeon Master.
Okay. All right, so then I guess we should jump right into our recap for tonight.
Let's do it.
Since we started a little late, I'm going to be moving a little quickly through the recap. But last we met,
You want to bring everybody else on screen?
Yes, thank you. I forgot about that because I was writing notes.
I mean, it's fine. I mean, I'll be the only one on screen.
It's just a one-on-one this week. Oh, whoops.
Shannon,
Actually,
that means you have to do the miming.
1 second, actually. Shannon, I need you to pantomime for a little bit, because I actually...
Why?
Because you all really messed up.
Oh, yeah, just a little bit.
So
okay.
Keep going, Shannon.
Great.
Talk about other things.
Oh no, other things. What should we talk about, friends? Be the disembodied voice. I can still hear you.
If one of us were a ghost and haunting you, which one would it be, Shannon?
Stefan. It would 100% be Stefan.
Is that what the ghost of Stefan sounds like?
Oh I've come to hunt you.
Yogi.
What would you
do to haunt her?
Yeah, and what is your unfinished business?
My unfinished business is that we never you
Sorry to put you on the
I'm trying to think of something good. My unfinished business is that we never both played in a game that was DM'd by Alex. So until that happens, my spirit cannot cross on.
All right.
And
so,
to
and how-
annoy you,
Yeah.
because this is your fault, obviously, and Alex has nothing
obviously,
to do with
because
it.
I was in charge of scheduling. And
Yes,
it,
yeah.
it didn't
Yep,
happen.
yep.
I would constantly change all your roles
Oh,
to be less.
you bastard.
The
Not just-
Milkman campaign, right?
Yeah, the Milkman campaign.
Yes.
No.
It's the
No.
Ooh.
No.
The Milk
That's the
People
only
The
campaign.
people. Oh shit! Sorry.
Good call, Clay.
No. Okay. Context for our audience. So Mike and I and Alex and Sean all play in a home campaign, and when we were deciding our party name, I think was it you, Mike, that was like, "We're gonna be the Milk People," and I said,
No,
"Absolutely
no, I wanted
not."
to be the. No, it's your fault because I wanted to be the milkmen, but you got offended and be like, "Excuse me,
Excuse me.
I am not a man."
I
And
am
was
a
like, "Fine,
woman.
We'll be the milk people."
Okay, so that's
Was
my
that-
fault too.
Was that because you guys were like delivering milk around to the?
Yeah, I
big
made a corny
bowl
joke.
of-
It was just like
No!
because they're
All right,
milk.
everybody,
will
before this
always be
gets
on
ugly.
time.
Before this gets ugly, the overlay has been fixed. All right, I'm really gonna speed through the recap.
Zoom.
All right, everybody. So we start our journey in Aldhalor, a continent separate from last campaign's Gwenvalir, that is recovering from centuries of conflict and calamity to come together to reopen the continent up to the rest of the world, particularly a civilization known as the Convergence of Halcyon looks to dominate this land through technology and a little politicking, and opening themselves up to economic growth through trade lines to the other continents. A smaller faction of Aldhalor is the Aldhalor Sodality, confederacy of pirates on a chain of islands in the southeast of the continent. They are opened up to the Carencia Sea, which is the massive ocean that separates Aldhalor from Gwenvalir. Our heroes find themselves here in the Aldhalor archipelago, particularly in the lands of Eja. Our heroes, Jacquette, going by the secret identity of LaRue, Saskia, and Fiern, have all arrived here together after some time at sea, stuck at sea together. We meet them early in the morning on the 4th of Maravala, Atalvisdak. Jacquette and Sass awake in his penthouse room in the tavern that he spent a lot of money on. She slept on the fainting couch there, but they awoke to the agreed upon sentiment of "we fucked up last night." As we learned through the session, they had gone to a tavern the night before, and her and Fiern had entered into a death match, and go figure, they rigged it so that they could make some gold, and she faked her death. After a lot of trials and tribulations there, they are concerned that they will be found out by the dangerous people at the Otter Business Tavern in the Widow's Ward. While they are waking up somewhere else, or a little bit before they woke up, Fiern is walking home from this exact bar where, because of his supposed victory in the death ring, he was being showered with praise and drinks, and he was having the best night of his life. But as he's walking home in a semi-sober stupor, he starts to notice that there are people following him. He confronts one of these men following him, but with kindness. offers to pick up his pipe for him that he dropped, and wishes him a good day as the man scampers off. The other person following him just gave him a cold stare and walked back into the alley as Fearon entered into the Harlequin and Chalice, the large 3-story tavern that this half of the party have been staying in. Next, they all met up to discuss what has happened, how fucked they are, and that Fearon has been followed. So they decide they're going to sit in the tavern, relax, and wait for a job to come in that'll take them out of the city for a couple days or longer till the steam blows over. Which brings us outside the city to Bruce and Septimus, who are camping outside near what is known as Fairehold, which is a small farmer's market area that is being set up as they wake up. As they plan for their day of heading back into Hyven, the port city, they are met by Delana, a dwarvish woman who knows Septimus. She asks them how they did in their efforts to save Septimus's homestead a couple days away from what he calls elemental raccoons, led by what Bruce calls the shaman raccoon. They, together, had failed to stop the infestation, and they're heading back into town to hire some more adventurers to resolve it. She asks if they were still agree to try to capture one of them live for her to study. They all agreed. As Fairehold was being set up, they left the grounds and started to head into the city, which was only a half day away. When they entered into the city, they went to the flea market to meet with one of Septimus's friends, a elven figure named Torcal, who was working on what appeared to be a gramophone, an ancient gramophone from long ago, from the ruins of the civilizations that were here before you all. Septimus tries to sell some rather mundane trinkets that he made to try to get a reward for the adventurers he's going to hire. Torcal gives him a gentle ribbing for it and offers him much lower than he wanted. Bruce notices this and offers up his hand to help fix the gramophone in exchange for more silver to pay these adventurers. Torcal agrees, and as Bruce starts to tinker with it just to see what the problem was, ends up breaking it a little bit more, but thankfully Torcal didn't notice the smoke and sparks coming off. But they are going to arrange for Bruce to actually fix this, and they get 70 silver, or 7 gold, to offer as a prize. They meet up at the Harlequin and Chalice, which is a tavern that Bruce knows quite well, and is where one of the most frequented jobs board is. Septimus starts to handwrite his lovely little job for 70 silver, as Bruce starts to talk up Jacquette, who seems to clearly be the leader of a group of misfits here, as Saskia and Fearon are doing a arm wrestling challenge that Saskia is very quickly breaking her own wrist over. But through some showmanship and discussion, you all agreed to work together for the 70 silver. Before leaving town, you stopped at a shop where you met Audubon Bunt, the premier blacksmith artisan in this city, who made a trade with Fearon, and also gave Septimus some accolades because he is friends with Torcal, and Torcal told him all about Septimus wasting his talents on that homestead and little trinkets he makes. We move through the streets back to meet with Jacquette, who has been talking to one of the original three's contacts, Winifred, someone who is getting you information about the Bone Rattler, a crew of pirates that betrayed you all. And then you were all to meet up at the Northwest Road. Remember, everyone, there's no gate. The city does not have a gate.
Gates!
Please stop saying you're meeting at the gate. I know in most D&D games, cities have gates, but this one doesn't. When they all met up, they did notice the man who was following Fearon earlier was watching them and was wearing Saskia's lost hat. Through a dissonant whispers from Jacquette and some mage hand from Sass, you're able to retrieve the hat and scare the man away. But it was safe to say that your ruse has likely been found out, and Sass's fake death has been exposed. With this exposure means a quick exit from the city and up the Northwestern Road, which is where we find ourselves now. It is about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You have been walking for, a half hour. You are finally away from the city. Like, you are finally at a point where the forest cover conceals the ruined walls of the city, and you're starting to no longer hear bustling of the ports, and instead it is replaced with bird song and the sounds of countryside insects as the road goes ever northwest. So, what would you all like to do in this moment? Or I guess,
How
there
far
anything you
again
can do? Go ahead.
is it to your homestead?
At this pace, it'd be about 2 days travel.
Ugh. Jacquette doesn't say anything else.
So I hope you came prepared with sleeping bags or other.
Oh, yes, we have all the adventuring accoutrement. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, even food. Don't forget dried meats and. Trust me, you don't want to eat root vegetables for multiple days.
We survived off of seagulls for a little while. I think we'll be all right.
Oh,
It'll be good to get back in the forest. I'm sure that there is some wild game we could hunt around these parts.
Yes.
Septimus, you would know that this region is actually fairly agricultural, and there's not a lot of for a while at least, there's not a lot of dense forest. There's just sort of copse of trees here and there, and the tree lines that separate farming territory. So for everyone, actually, to give you a description of what you're entering, because you are, now that you're about an hour out of the city, you are entering into this tight road that is surrounded by farmlands and then tree lines and stone walls. Picture the cliche picture of the countryside of Ireland, where you can see some cottages, you can see some livestock, but you're moving along this road. It's a fairly well-traveled and wide road, so it's not uncomfortable to walk along. And you do see copse of trees in some areas that are a little bit more densely forested. But the kind of creatures that you're going to be able to hunt around here are critters. The thing that Septimus would know that is more concerning is if there are wisps of elemental magic that come into play. That is what's more dangerous than the creatures in this area, and even the people.
Unfortunately, not much game in these areas, save for the few rodents that scurry around. But we'll have to keep an eye out for elementals, wisps of elementals that roam these parts. You might have seen them the other day, the jellies that were floating above after the storm. Harmless, but there are plenty more that are far more dangerous.
I'm well acquainted with the spirits of the land. I'll be sure to stay on my toes.
It's around this time that you all would look up to the sky and see there are the beginnings of little formations of these floating jellies that Septimus is referencing that you, by this point, have all seen. They look as if someone took a 6-foot diameter bubble ring with bubble solution in it and just ran with it to create a massive blob of opalescent bubble. And they just sort of float in the sky and occasionally bump into each other and merge into larger ones or shrink down. There's not a lot of them, not a lot of knowledge about them that all of you kind of know that they're just sort of these things that happen in the sky. Septimus, you know that they've been around for the last year since the Great Storm. They are formally called Vesentblots, but but are more commonly referred to as jellies.
The Vescent blots.
Yep, Vescent blots. Okay, so you are walking about the day. Septimus, you know that in a couple hours you will reach Fairehold, the farmers market grounds. By the time you reach it, it'll still be open, but it'll be in the closing hour. So if there's any reagents or anything like that folks want to buy, or if there's anyone you want to stop in and check in with there, you can. Otherwise, you can do one of two things. You can settle there for the evening, because it'll be around dinner time when you arrive there, if you want a safe place to sleep. Or you could push onward and go a couple hours more to reduce the amount of travel you need for the next day and a half. So I'll say you can, well, I guess I'll let you approach, and then you can decide.
Since I am assuming you're unfamiliar with this land, we're approaching Fairehold now. Small little collective of local traders and farmers of the such. I'd recommend it's a good place to stop for the night. Bruce and I, we traveled these roads not too long ago, were met with an unfortunate, could have been worse, elemental enemy. So might be wise to make camp near more people.
Sounds good
Plus,
to me.
there'll be more. There's probably more goods and stuff that you may want to purchase for a good dinner, because I unfortunately do not have much. Turning to Bruce too.
Sounds good. You're our guide in these lands. Are the elemental spirits always so aggressive?
They haven't been for the longest time. There was a great storm in this area that seemed to change their tune a bit. Since then, their behavior's been erratic. I thought I once knew or could understand what they felt, but no longer.
Someone must have created some sort of great travesty in order for the spirits to get riled up that much. I've heard stories of similar things happening, but I've never seen it myself.
You can do everything right to appease the spirits, and they still won't care.
You should show more respect to them. They are what keeps this world bound together.
I thought that was the
According to who?
gods.
Depends on how you see it. Gods, spirits, some people think it's the same thing.
Yes, and some people think that the world is flat, but, clearly it's not.
It's not?
No. What? No.
I mean, of course,
It's clearly a
not.
triangle.
Right. Of course.
It's kind of
not flat.
triangle. It's a
I
pyramid.
think there was the theory that it was a dodecahedron.
Yes, it had 20 sides on it, right? And one side was critically successful.
Everyone
Those
thinks
are the
it's their side.
poles.
My,
The north is the luckiest.
my
Of
plot
course.
of land must be the one.
It's at this point you can all see as the day has gone on. You would see from by this point, because it's about a half day's travel, it's around 6:30, 7ish, that you can see one, the sun is starting to set a little bit, and the area is kind of bathed in that violet hue of sunset and golden hour. As you can kind of see, the blots in the sky have this much more beautiful look to them now, as they have this narrow light beaming through them, and they almost illuminate in colorful purples, pinks, and oranges and reds. They're much more stand out much more at sunset. As you can see, some of the torches being lit, as well as some gas lanterns as well, or oil lanterns. And you can see many carts. You can see some that are leaving now. You can see some that are packing up, some that are sitting back for the late night crowd. As there's a mixture of hunters selling game, farmers selling both staple crops and smaller bundles of fruits and vegetables, as well as some of the countryside artisans who are selling their wares for a cheaper price than you would find in the more posh areas of Hyven, as well as some selling more expensive, intricate handmade items that are seen as more valuable than the kind of factory-made stuff in Hyven. But generally, it's a very lovely place. There are fireflies starting to come out. There's a sort of all of this is built within a copse of trees that make up a little grove. There are some semi-permanent structures there. You could think of this as any kind of fairground where it's inactive for parts of the year, and there are some structures and some setup areas. And in the center is a large oak tree that kind of puts a shadow over everything here, as there are sort of these lights hung up around it that are little like tea lights cloth. As you can hear music starting to play, as it seems like some folk, when they finish up for the day, especially on a Pelva's Dog, which is close to the weekend, maybe are sharing in some drinks and music together. As it's just overall, in comparison to the tightly packed Hyven, very peaceful looking community. So, you can either find a little camp spot to settle, or you can start exploring if there's anything you're looking for in particular.
Septimus, any suggestions on the best place for food?
Yes, but quickly, what was John? What was the dwarf's woman's name again?
Dolvana.
Dolvana.
Dolvana, yeah. Dolvana Wind and Rill.
I just sworn I wrote it down.
Not sure you want to be asking him his palate. Here, why don't I?
If you know better, please, Bruce, lead on.
I've been here once.
More
Just because
times
I
than
don't
me.
partake in eating exquisite food doesn't mean I don't know where to find some. If you love good stews, refreshed meat, and produce, you go to Alvaria. He lives in the center of town. If you want something, I don't know, more heartier meat dish, they're always roasting chicken and duck. You can go see Devindo.
These are all real
And,
references now.
Those are probably your two best bets. I'm not quite sure the background of each of you either, but if any are magical in nature, you go see Dolvana. She's a small dwarven woman. She'll sell you any potions apothecary needs, reagents, and you can mention my name, and I'm sure she'll help you out.
Absolutely.
I would like to go check out the produce. Is it like a produce stand?
Yes, these are yeah. So if you think of like whenever you're in like the countryside and you're driving through, I mean it's a farmer's market at the end of the day.
Cool.
There's
Cool.
stands. They're not
Okay. So I would like to go kind of just like meander by the produce stand. And if there's like an apple or like an orange or just like something that is easily just like plucked off the side, I'm not stealing, I'm trading without telling anybody. I would like to get the piece of fruit, and I want to leave one of my in its place, I want to leave a component of one of my spells, which would be the Petrified Eye of a Newt. I'm going to leave that in its place. Take
Okay.
fruit,
Are
leave
you trying to
component.
not be noticed doing this?
Yes.
All right, give me a sleight of
Yeah.
hand check.
I'm trying to do it's like a misdirection. Just like
You're trying to create
okay.
a misdirection.
Correct. So that's still stealth, right? Stealth or sleight of hand.
Yes, that would still be sleight of hand. 'Cause
Okay.
Some call
Fuck
misdirection, sleight of hand misdirection.
Damn it. 9.
9. Okay. So the produce and Mike, was it Alvarium that had produce, or was it Divindo?
It was Alvarium.
I thought that's what I thought. Just
Alvarium.
double checking with these characters.
Divindo had the.
I just
Had the meat.
I
Had the
just
meats.
got some Alvarium. Alvarium beers.
I was gonna say, yeah.
I don't know
are-
why
is-
that came to my mind.
I like it because it's also one of my favorite breweries. So that works. Okay, so when you get up there, Shannon, Sass, you would see an old man who...
Not the same old man.
No, he lives in the city.
Okay.
No, this man is wearing long blue, baby blue robes. And the robes themselves look as though they were once very, very regal. They have very nice, fine golden embroidery in it, like all over, creating this flower pattern. And it all looks very faded. This looks like probably a family heirloom of sorts, something that this man likely treasures. He has a brown, a really faded, like almost like driftwood colored scarf around his neck that hangs down, and a very large beard that hangs over the scarf. That is a very white in color, but has these almost highlights of my brain is blue. My brain was forgetting colors. Highlights of blue. He is bald, and for all intents and purposes, he kind of looks like a wizard. He looks like a wizard. Like, especially for you as someone who cosplays as a pirate often, this man might be cosplaying as a wizard. But he
Excellent.
is, and he's very lithe and tall. But he's sitting back in a chair, and you can see he's in the center. Like, he's actually like somehow gotten, maybe because he's older and he's been in this farmer's market for a while, but he got the best spot. As Mike said, Alvarium stands are in the center. They're around the oak tree. You might think that he probably decorated the oak tree with the candle lights. And he has a little messenger bag that he has over his shoulder. But he's sitting back, kind of relaxing. His eyes are closed. He's listening to the band on the other side of the oak tree tuning up their instruments, and he seems very pleased with himself right now. And as you go to grab one of the fine Alvarium apples from the orchards of Jonas Alvarium's farmstead, he literally opens one eye and looks directly at you. No.
Sorry, that's not how you do it here. I'm not
He
a
opens
local.
both eyes, blinking. I don't know many shops that accept non-verbally negotiated trades. I'll take
Oh, that's
coin.
where I come from. I know Septimus.
Septimus. Septimus. I don't know a Septimus.
Is that
Point.
guy over there?
That
I
doesn't
point.
help.
I point out.
He looks past you. Oh, yes. Oh, I knew his father, but I don't know the boy. It does not matter to me who he is. It's 5 copper for the apple, if you wish it. I have no need for a newt's eye.
Are you sure?
I am almost positive.
Are you sure you don't know Septimus?
I do know the boy, but not quite well enough to give you a discount. Is that what you're fishing for?
I just like an apple.
I don't do discounts.
You know, I've been at sea for so long, and I'm trying to fight off that scurvy.
Apples are not what fights scurvy. Would you like some citrus fruits?
Do you have any?
I do. I have some lemons.
Do you have any lemons that are going bad that you couldn't sell?
Give me a persuasion roll.
Oh, that was almost a natural 20, but it was a dirty 20.
He looks at you, and now he opens both eyes again, because he's been like opening an eye and closing them, because the band is starting to play behind the tree. You can hear them warming up now, and he's tapping his long, kind of like gnarled fingers. He's just tapping them on the side of this wooden chair that he sits in. This little like throne for the farmer's market in the center of everything. As he goes, then he looks at you, and he sees just sort of like the salt-caked boots and the rather not great state of your clothes, because Jacquette had his bath, but did not get you a bath.
I did not look for or ask for one.
Yeah, and I imagine you don't smell great. And he looks at you and goes, oh, well, I suppose for a pauper I can offer some charity. And he goes and he stands up, and he's very tall when he stands up. Even with the crook of his shoulders with his age. How tall is Sass?
My height. So 5'7".
5'7". Okay. Yeah, so he's like 6'2", with his back like hunched over. Like he looks like when standing up, you're like, that looks like a terrifying like scarecrow man.
Yeah. You're a tall fellow.
Oh, I've heard that my whole life. But you can't see over the trees. Okay. And you see disappears behind the oak.
Am I just supposed to wait?
Do
Was
you
that
want
snow?
lemons or not?
Yes, please.
He comes back with a a bundle of lemons in like kind of a net bag. And he hands them to you, and there's 4 of them in there, and they're not bad. They just look hideous. Like they're grown and misgrown. They might not have a lot of pulp in them. They might be mostly rind. There's definitely were picked too early as well. So they're not great.
It's okay.
And they'll be very tart.
Well, this is very kind of you.
Yes.
You sure you don't have any use for a newt's eye? I've got plenty.
Oh, I'd have no use for a newt's eye, but perhaps a favor one day.
Sure.
What's your name?
Saskia.
Saskia.
Call me Sass for short.
Sass. I never forget a face. And he closes his eyes and sits back. Jonas Silvarium.
Very nice to meet you, Mr. Jonas.
He opens his eye again, and he's like, I have my eye on you. Get into trouble here. These are my farm stands.
Noted. I'll let Septimus know.
And he sits back like a tired king and folds his hands together on his chest and starts to bob his head to the music playing.
I sling the net bag of lemons over my shoulder, and I start to go scope out a campsite.
Okay.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say that, while this is all happening, Fionn would probably not focus on dinner and start trying to make a campsite for the group, just like
And then I'll
picking
go
up
find-
firewood.
Then I'll go meet up with Fionn.
Yeah, I'll say Fionn, it's very easy to, because they have, like, in the outer perimeter of Fairehold, there are basically little, like, pre-set-up camp squares where you'll see there's stones around a pit where there's remains of an old fire, as well as some other, like, very general supplies that are kept here. It looks like they like to offer up a nice spot for people to stay. It even already has a little bit of firewood there. It seems like whatever union of sorts that runs this campsite is very on top of it. So you can easily find a spot. In Sass, you can see Fionn setting up a fire. You can go and join him.
Yeah, imagine I'm chopping logs as you walk in.
Okay. Look, I got some lemons for free.
Great. Are they
Oh, they're my
yummy?
lemons. No, I'm just telling you, I got lemons. They're mine.
Oh, okay. Why
I don't know,
not
I
get
haven't
us
tried
some
it yet.
meat? I'm starting a fire.
I don't know how to hunt.
Well, somebody on that farm has to sell some meat. I heard Davindo Cerberus was talking about. I called you Cerberus. Septimus.
You mean s- I got the lemons.
And as you say that, we'll zoom out to what everyone else is doing as Fearn is disappointed in the only food that you brought back being lemons. The rest of you, is there anything in particular you'd like to do here?
Wherever Bruce thinks is the best place for food, Jacquette's gonna follow him.
Okay. So Bruce,
I would actually
give
probably
me-
be around the campsite as well. So if they're
Okay.
there, I would probably been around there, just like setting up my tent and just getting ready. Like,
Totally, absolutely. Bruce, just give me an investigation check.
Sure.
It's based off of Bruce's Nas. He's sniffing around for the best cooked meats.
It's a 10.
It's 10, okay. You do find a stand that it looks like there's a man there who is like basically like taking fresh meat that people bought at other stands and cooking them for them over a rather large setup where he's got a fire going underneath and he's got sort of this cast iron tabletop that's put over this and some stone supports and or cast iron grate over the top. And he's just grilling meats for people. And he has like these little like wooden bowls to the side that have several different spices of a variety of colors there. You can see vibrant reds, oranges. You'll even see some odd ones that are not like the typical colors of food. Like you'll see a pile of like purple spices that is a mixture of, you look closer and you see it's a mixture of sort of like some ground up red spice and some strange blue like dried herb. That kind of gives off this purplish color as the two mingle together. And you see there's a drow elf there, very tall, 7 feet tall, sitting on a stool as he's just preparing a chicken that someone bought somewhere else. And you see he just sort of grabs with a huge fist, grabs a bunch of this purple spice and starts to shake it over it and rub it in, pours from this jug, like someone's clearly cooking oil onto it and rubbing it around as he's also laying it out flat on the griddle or the grill. He's wearing furs. He's got some classic drow white rune tattoos across his dark blue skin with his bluish white silver hair. So yeah, I mean, clearly you have to buy meat and bring it over, but this seems to be the only place left open still that's cooking right now.
What is it you got here? And also, what's that funky purple spice?
You see he looks up. As you can see, there's just sort of this like couple with their kid waiting on the side. You can see the kid has like a what's clearly like some big bundle of fruits that his parents bought for him, as the parents are just waiting for this dinner essentially to go sit and watch the band play. But you see this drow looks up, and the best way I can describe the way he looks is he's very large, but he has kind of basically that white silver hair kind of comes over his eye like an emo haircut a little bit, kind of like those emo cows in Scotland. And he just sort of like looks up, and you kind of see like one eye is under the hair, one's staring back at you with these very like vibrant orange eyes as he just looks up and goes, "Oh, we got Aldhalor spicy rub. We've got over here is this is from what is that place called? Looks for his.
Just tell me your favorite one. Which one's your favorite?
Which one's my favorite? Is gonna be the Avenirian violet. It's got a It's a little spicy, it's a little sweet, it's a little umami, it's a little bit of pizzazz as well, I'd say.
What flavor is pizzazz exactly?
You'll know when you taste it.
I think it's like
Touché.
like a zing.
Oh yeah, that's a better
To,
word for it. Zing. It's got a real good zing.
I don't know.
But
I
we need to
think-
purchase the meats first, you said?
Yeah, I don't supply the meats. I'm just a cook. You can go over. I think Devindo still has some ducks available.
Oh, some duck would be good. Do you agree?
No.
Oh.
Oh, it's why you
Uh,
don't like duck. You ever had I can whip out a pan. We don't have to put it on the grill. I can get it nice over here. It's a cool
pan-seared
spot.
duck? Oh, that would be
Exactly.
beautiful.
You ever had pan-seared duck breast? It's fucking divine.
Do you need some water?
No, and you see he reaches his hand up into a shelf that he has, and you think he's reaching for more spices, but he just pulls out a fat cigar and puts it in his mouth.
All right, we'll take some duck.
Okay, well, you got to go over and grab it from Devindo. We don't have to roleplay you
Right.
grabbing it from Devindo.
Yes.
You're able to grab two. Maybe you can either get a whole duck, or you can get a butchered and just get the duck breast.
I think Jacques would get the whole duck.
Okay. When you bring it back, he goes, "All right. Do you want some of that Avenirian violet?"
Oh, yes, please. Yes, please.
All right. The duck, the whole duck itself would have costed 2 silver. Just the breast would cost 5 copper if you were to get just the breast. And
Jacques turns to Bruce and goes, "It's 2 silver." And holds out a hand. You see 1 silver is already in there. He expects you to pay half.
All right.
He's not unfair.
Bruce slaps down 1 silver.
all right. Yeah, it's gonna for the labor of cooking and the Avenirian violet, which is the good stuff. That'll be 4 silver for this service.
Oh,
Oh, I don't
more
know.
than the cost of the duck?
Well, most
Yeah,
of that
maybe we
cost is
could,
the Avenirian violet, which comes from over the mountains. It's hard to get here.
That's fair.
I guess we could.
Well, they say the best things in life cost gold, so at least this is
Hey.
silver, he says, ribbing Bruce, which
And,
looks more like him leaning down and elbowing Bruce in the head.
Bruce just closes his eyes and holds up another silver.
So Jacques hands it over, and he goes, "There you go, and do you mind telling me the name of the master chef who will be cooking our meal tonight?"
Oh, my name's Brizza. Finest chef in Fairehold. Yeah, open late, here for the late hours. So if you get a little drunk listening to the music, I can cook more for you after. But Joy, as he takes the duck out of your hands and he reaches in to the Avenirian violet, rubs it all over it. He puts a nicer cooking oil on it, and then you see he pulls out this large cast iron pan, twirls in his hand, drops it down, oils it up, and as it starts to smoke, he puts the whole duck, which he's kind of done a little bit of butchering for you as well, or Devindo would have done some butchering, spatchcock it, put it down, and then you see he puts a heavy weight on top of it as the smoke and steam starts to come off, and you can start to hear popping, almost like pop rocks.
Yeah.
As the Avenirian violet is reacting to the cooking process.
Does he slice the skin, Sean, for the duck? You gotta slice the skin.
Oh yeah,
Very
yeah,
important.
yeah. He scores the duck breast.
Thank you.
Oh, this smells delectable. Thank you so much, Brizza. It's been far too long since I had a proper meal.
Oh, not a problem. If you need anything else, Cooks, I'll be here till 8 o'clock. He's very impolite about the smoke.
Let's eat this elsewhere.
Yes, I can carry my friend.
Okay. So you have some. You have a whole Avenirian violet spiced duck. You have a bag of lemons. And
you
just
think we're gonna
eating
bring
those
this?
things raw, or are we making lemonade? Like, what's the deal?
I'm just like open it and just. Start
you don't
sucking
have
the
to go
juice
back
in.
to the campsite.
Oh,
right
no,
away
we're-
now. You
we're
can walk
not.
around and eat.
Jacques is going to. He's gonna say to Bruce. He's like, "Shall we enjoy this over by the band?"
Oh, yeah. That's a good idea. Bruce is
Yeah,
very,
Going
very
by
violent
now,
when
and
he
I'm
eats.
like,
So when we sit down to eat, would there be like tables or something?
Yeah,
by the
there's
band?
picnic tables set up. There's
Oh,
like a
fantastic.
very small stage that's like
Yeah.
like 2 feet off the ground. Like they clearly have festivals here, and you can see there's a band, and there's a few, that family that got their own roast chicken is there. You can see there's some other folks. You can see that Alvarium has moved to the other side of the oak so he can watch the band. As you can see him gently sitting there in his other throne, and other folks who are like finishing cleaning up or sitting down. It seems like a lot of the people who work here will settle down and eat dinner together and listen to a band play. It's actually Jacquette, give me a quick perception check or insight check.
We'll do perception. Ooh, 6.
Okay, so you don't really notice the band too much. They're just kind of, they start playing, and you're not really paying attention to them. You're eating, maybe your back's turned to them.
Well, I was gonna say when we sit down, Jacquette, Robespierre, and he summons his unseen servant, and you would just see cutlery come out of his bag with a plate, and then very delicately and precisely these utensils, by some invisible hand, Bruce, you can't see, starts neatly and cleanly cutting up the duck and serving it out on a plate. And it, takes about a minute for Robespierre's very precise work before like half the duck is cut up and put on the plate, and then Jacquette pushes the other half towards you.
Hi. So, I thought you used a crossbow, not some sort of magician.
It is a simple magic I learned in college. Robespierre here is my servant who helps me out with the mundane day-to-day tasks of life.
Oh, well. Thank you, Robespierre. All right. And at this point, Bruce takes out one of his his little magical Leatherman, flips it around, and eats like makes like he's like a little fork now, and
little two-pronged fork that comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's great. Like Robespierre's cut. Like I imagine Robespierre cuts like a tableside service of a chef, and it's just like
Yes,
putting
exactly.
it there perfectly. You can see the steam and the juices coming off the meat, but the skin is still crispy in there.
Yeah, he even like re-put the sauce on top, drizzled over it, so it gets very moist.
Yeah, and when you eat this, it has a very he wasn't wrong when he said it has zing. It does, like, your mouth gets a little numb from it a little bit, kind of like if you've ever had Szechuan peppercorns, and a little tingly, and then there's a good spice in the back of the tongue, but it's not overbearing, and there's a fruitfulness that is balanced with the fat and umami. It's just generally very good. Especially if you like the finer things. Someone who doesn't may taste this and may be overwhelmed by it, and not find it as good.
This I should buy some of this spice to go. This is
Oh, it's delicious. It's
I, uh,
delicious.
I think another meat could be better with it, but duck will do for now.
Oh
Too
no,
fatty.
duck. Oh no, the fat is. Oh, it soaks up all the juice and it's so. Oh no, a good
Yeah,
fatty duck. Nothing beats it.
yeah, but this can't really bite your. You know, you don't sink your teeth into jelly. That's not what teeth are for. You could. Fat is like. There's nothing to it.
But it's so rich.
Yeah, it feels weird on the tongue. Whatever.
Clearly, you don't know
Still,
the finer things the tongue should be tasting.
uh,
And as these two
I don't know about that.
carnivores, humanoids based on carnivores, are debating their preferences on meat. The band starts playing, and it's a woman up there with a fearball gentleman in the back, a half-orc man to her left, then a halfling woman as well, who looks a little younger. And then the leader of the band is a what looks like a half-elven woman with slightly darker skin, with a large bundle of curly brown hair that extends out in a puff. And she's wearing very fine clothes. She's wearing a long, vested long coat, kind of like Sass's, but with a shoulder cape over it that is almost has every color of the rainbow somewhere woven into it in this very chaotic design, almost like someone was just going in with different color threads and trying to make a Jackson Pollock of a cape. And it has a slight shimmer to it. On the other shoulder, there's a single silver pauldron that is clearly not like armor meant to be operational. It is decorative attachment to counter the ornate cloak. She does have a leather breastplate on that has a kind of long ascot coming off out of the top, as she is holding a fiddle in one hand. Yes.
Does this look like Fiora Bendaga, the People's Bard, who I
It
saw a
does.
flyer for?
It does. Yes. So it's once the band starts playing that you actually recognize her. The perception check earlier was to see if you recognized her earlier.
I figured.
I figured you might get it on your own, but just in case. But yes,
Appreciate it.
anyone who's spent any time in Hyven would have noticed there are posters all over every tavern there, regardless of if it's a seedy tavern in the Widow's Ward or if it's a top-end tavern like the Harlequin and Chalice, or even one of the many the many 20 other taverns in that city that you haven't explored yet. They all will have a poster for Fiora Bendaga, who is called the People's Bard. Some of them look a little older. The posters, and they're all have a painted visage of her with printed text over it, usually with dates of when she's going to be at that tavern particularly. But she has graced the Fairehold Fairgrounds tonight, which is unusual for a famous bard like herself. But the band begins to play, and the first song is a very slow and haunting song that has this ethereal nature to it as the violin, the fiddle plays these long, drawn-out tones, and she begins to sing, and it is hauntingly beautiful, gentle, soft voice that is singing about the world around you, nature, the rivers, the mountains, even singing a little bit about divinity and the gods. The song talks about why we've separated ourselves from the gods, why we put the gods in the sky when they could be in the rivers and lakes around us, and all part of us. It is very beautiful. Those of you in the campsite are not that far away, so you can still hear the music. It does seem to be magically expanded with a thaumaturgy-esque enchantment on the instruments, but it's quite beautiful. The three of you would notice that the other two did not come back. And truthfully, they're not so far away that you would be able to eventually see them sitting there. What would you all do?
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay. Fionn has been, after he made the campfire, he's kind of just like watching in like a little bit of disgust as Saz tries to like, scarf down these lemons. And
And as I finished one, I just tossed it over my shoulder.
It's like Danny DeVito and Always Sunny.
I'm polishing my armor, and like I've taken it off, and I'm still wearing my like heavy fur cloak and all that, but I've doffed my armor and I'm polishing it, and I'm also etching runes into the new sword that I've acquired. And I'm just silently working unless somebody, says anything.
Septimus is just eating some nuts.
I was joking when I said I wasn't going to share my lemons. Do you want one?
Yeah, I guess so. And I catch it and I like cut it in half, and then I like take my water skin and I like cast a little ray of frost to like a little cantrip just to cool it down a little bit. Squeeze the lemon inside and then like drink it, and I'm just like.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's smart.
You must really like lemons.
I like food that I don't have to pay for.
Yeah,
I'm starving.
Sass,
this isn't enough for me.
Sass, you just keep like I imagine just like cutting a slice out and then just
Yep. 100%.
So you can, if you so wish, Sass, to mark in your inventory, you now have 2 lemons left.
2 lemons. I'm putting it in right now.
You mind sharing some of those nuts?
I was about to offer them.
Very kind of you. I take a normal portion. I don't go crazy. My hands are big, so I kind of take a small portion for me, which would be a normal portion for anyone else.
But as the three of you kind of settle with your nuts and lemons and lemonade on the edge of this squared camp area, you can watch and you can see the band. They're only like 50 or so feet away, or 100 feet away, while Jaquette and Bruce are, 50 to 60 feet away and amongst the picnic tables. And you can listen to this band. You see as Fiora Bendega is singing this song and finishing this lilting beautiful song. You see she holds a hand up in the air. The violin has stopped. It is purely now the cello played by the Firbolg in the back, who switched from a standing bass to a cello here as the other three stop, and it's just this very low, haunting riff as Fiora holds a hand up, and you see a small bubble of the Vesenblot seems to appear and fall down, gently land. She holds it up, and it grows large and pops, and lights of radiant elemental magic fling around, all around, shapes of butterflies throughout, as they then settle into the ground. The band stops the song, start the next one, which is much more of a raucous romp. As the fiddle goes fast, and the Firbolg switches to the upright bass, and he's hitting a really fun bass line. You can as the halfling begins to play the flute, the half-orc begins to sing actually in a deeper voice, and sing more of a countryside song.
Do I know this one, Sean?
No, because you. Oops, excellent. Stopped it. No, because you haven't been in the South that long. So, I mean, the type of music is familiar to you, but the song itself isn't.
I'm tapping my foot, and I'm enjoying it, and I'm kind of just like mumbling the words, even though I don't know them.
So, do they?
Would you like
play
to
that-
join your friends, or your friend, I should say?
As much as it looks like fun, I've got a few chores to do first. I need to stay vigilant before I can enjoy myself.
I'll go. I'll stand up and. Are you coming? Let's go see what they're up to. Can you hold down the campsite? Fearn?
I just nod.
Great, let's go.
I do enjoy Fiona.
I think it's Fiora.
That's what I said.
Oh, Fiora Danon. I think I saw Bendega. Fiora Bendega, right? I saw some signs in the pub. I didn't know this was her.
She travels all around the After Islands quite often. It's good to see that she's made a round back here.
I'm already walking towards LaRue and Bruce, not caring if I'm about to interrupt a conversation that may or may not be happening.
Yeah. What conversation comes up after you finished debating the merits of fat versus lean?
I think. Just to be clear, you know, I'm for hire too. This isn't a job for me, by the way.
Oh, sorry, I just assumed by the nature of you and Septimus coming in together and you talking about the job, and that's fair. So how did you get on board with this whole Raccoon rodeo?
Well, he was looking for somebody to take care of these raccoons, and I thought that I could build some traps to deal with them. You know, rodent problem usually is solved by traps.
Sure.
And I was, you know, I'm looking to see the area, and if you could take me around, which he offered to, as long as I make him some traps, I figured, hey, free tour.
Sure.
And, yeah. So.
So the raccoons were a little more than you could manage?
Correct. I'm not really a fighter. I'm more of a creator. And a lover. You know.
Sure. These traps of yours, though, what exactly, do they do?
Bruce just throws one on the table.
Oh.
You're muted, by the way, Sean.
Sorry. Sass, you walk up right as that trap just on the wooden table. So you see, what kind of trap did you lay? It was just the basic bear trap?
It's just a bear trap. And it's gonna come out and be opened up right when it gets over to. It's gonna slide across the table and open up right in front of him.
Oh, what game are we playing?
I do not want to play this game, whatever it is, unless. Well, do you want to lose a hand?
No.
That's what I thought. This is this just a bear trap?
Yeah, we could play another game. How about this? And I take one piece of the duck and I put it very so carefully right on the trigger.
Oh no.
Oh.
Yeah. So is that just it? I need to get the piece of meat without triggering the trap.
Well, you know.
Mage hand.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, your mage hand grabs the piece of duck and the trap. The trap goes off. It just goes, and the mage hand's just there in the trap and just.
And I have the mage hand feed me. It's got a bit of a zing to it.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, your mouth is numb, Sass.
A little too much.
But also, like, your mage hand is like of the sea, so to speak. So like, as she did that, just like a slop of salt water fell onto the table, and like splashed onto some of the duck you all have.
Oh, sorry. It does that.
As you see, the duck was cradled in like a little hand of seaweed that brought it over to her.
I guess Septimus would be falling not too far behind. I just grabbed a seat at the table and was like, "Oh, I see you went with the duck. Did you enjoy?"
Jacquet's plate is basically bare. Even some of the bones have been like chewed on by him.
Bruce, Septimus, there's a couple of pieces of meat left for you.
But you have to play the game to get them.
No, he's the game was for you guys, not.
Oh, come on. Give it a
Appreciate
try.
the offer, but I'm quite full already.
I'll have his piece. Do it again.
All right. Well, you can't no trickery this time.
Would you like to make it?
I mean, what point is the game if you're just going to bypass it, you know?
Right.
What'd you say, Sean?
The whole point of a game is to add rules to a situation where you could bypass them.
If you want to go for it, Shannon, you got to make a dexterity save.
Okay. To be fair, though, you never said couldn't use my real hand.
I'm 100%
That was
on
not the rule.
board the first time. Very clever, very good. I liked it a lot. But now, let's see if there's some real skill in those pirate hands of yours.
Cracks the knuckles. Dex save. Here we go.
DC is 13.
14.
You
Oh,
just
excellent.
make it. Sass, you go and you might be like sweating a little bit here because you're like, I'm good at tricks, but not necessarily this. And you reach in and like you start slow because you're moving over it, and then suddenly it's just you grab it and it triggers and Sass, like you feel like if like your like any like clothes, like if your puffy sleeves are down at all, like it catches it and rips it a little bit, but your hand comes out safe.
Yeah, it was
All right.
pretty impressive. So, if you're faster than that means you're faster than a raccoon. Actually, wait, no. No,
Didn't the traps not work on them?
That's
Correct,
right,
yeah. My apologies.
Well, it did catch one eventually.
Oh,
I
that's
have
true.
faith in our abilities. How hard can it be?
They're just raccoons, aren't they? Pandas or whatever. I'm still not quite sure what a raccoon is, but doesn't matter. I'm sure we can kill them.
It's a medium-sized rodent in these lands.
Medium?
But like relatively to a rodent, it's larger. So like if a base rodent is like a rat.
Okay.
Like a medium-sized rodent is a rat. This is like an XL rodent.
Are you gonna eat that last piece of meat?
No, it's all yours.
You gonna make me play for it?
Oh no, you can just have it. You already proved that you can. I don't feel like setting up another trap.
Thank you very much.
This one is notably saltier, Shannon, as your seawater had splashed on it. Washed
Sorry,
some
I
of the
just
seasoning
sucked
off,
lemons
so
dry,
it's
so it's fine.
it's less
Yum.
it has less pizzazz.
Delicious.
But you finish up your food and you are all watching the band. And Fiora gives an excellent show. Like it's filled with great music, both fast and exciting, and haunting and beautiful. It seems though, whenever she does the more haunting music, the themes of the songs are a lot more about the natural world and divinity and gods and our humanoid relationships with the divine. And they often, the ones that are slow and haunting, incorporate some elemental show of color. Whether it's her, where there was the summoning of the Vescent Blot that turned to the butterflies, or if it's just sort of these sprites of light that seem to appear in various colors and slight pyrotechnics and cryotechnics as well, as there's a cold air when the song talks about the mountains above that rushes through the audience, or the audience feels a pattering of rain as she mentions a storm. It's full rainforest cafe level here. But there's a clear display of magical prowess from her. But you can stay for the show. You can order some more food. There's actually seems to be someone who's brought out a barrel of mead that they're pouring.
That's what we're looking for.
They're pouring portions out for 1 silver to folks. Is a homemade hibiscus honey mead.
I'm glad you mentioned that because my head was in the same place.
So anyone who wants a flagon of mead can pay 1 silver for it. She is also selling handmade wooden flagons as well, that are actually the priciest thing you've seen here so far. They are 5 gold or 5 silver each. As there's these very nice looking flagons, the kind you'd get at a Ren fair.
Like this.
Just like that. Otherwise, you can get a, she has these like very simple paper cups. That you can also have.
I will actually spend a silver, just 1, to have some mead. I won't. No flare. Or, yeah, but not flagon. Just.
Oh, you're not. Yeah, you mean no flare? No, like I'm gonna trade you a newt's eye.
Exactly.
I don't know if that's flair.
Exactly. Excuse me.
I think that's just misunderstanding the way that the barter system works.
So would
Willfully
everyone like to get a flagon of mead?
Oh, yes.
Is anyone buying
John-
an actual flagon?
No.
After an hour, I would join everyone else.
Okay, yeah. Once you've finished up what's left of your lemonade. So it's pretty much like almost the end of the evening that Fear and you would join them. As the band is starting to quiet down, it's approaching like 8:30ish. So most of the vendors have completely shut their shops down. The mead has been all drunk. People are starting to leave the show.
I wasn't gonna have any mead. I'm gonna omit from the mead.
You're omitting from. Okay. So, but everyone else is having a mead.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's delicious. If you like honey, you like sweet wines, it's very, very delicious. If you prefer a drier wine, then it's not necessarily what you'd enjoy, but it's good. It's well made for me. This is a lovely place. Like the music's good, the food's good, the mead's good, the people are friendly. You see, old Jonas Alvarium has had one too many meads. And is now, when the songs get very fast, is up and doing like a jig behind his tables and clapping his hands and dancing around in a circle.
Yes, Jonas. Woo.
Doing that old hippie dance that boomers do at like jam band concerts, where they're just sort of like
The twist.
But nonetheless, the evening comes to a close. You see, Fiora kind of gives a gracious bow, whipping the what do you call the stick of a violin that you use on it?
The bow.
Bow. Thank you. She waves the. I'm gonna cut that out.
Cut it.
It's too bad because the raw one's gonna have it in there.
She waves the bow of her fiddle, very in a flourish as she leans up straight, and her voice booms out with the thaumaturgy magic, as she just says, "We thank you all for coming to this very special show in Fairehold, and we hope that the fine folk of these lands understand the messages behind these songs. and understand the need we all have to band together as a community. Make sure we protect these lands. Bid you all good night. May
Community.
spirits guide you. And there's some clapping, some wooing. It's a small enough crowd, though, that it's not like a huge ovation standing applause. As the band hops off the back, and they seem to kind of walk over to their own wagon, where they start to pack up their instruments and share in their own drink. But is there anything else you would all like to do before heading back to your campsite?
Fionn is gonna buy an extra drink, and he's gonna follow the band and try and offer a drink to the singer lady that he was very impressed with.
Would anyone like to join Kieran as he wanders towards the band?
I'd imagine he doesn't tell everybody what he's doing, but you could see he's not hiding it.
Yeah, you would all notice eventually. He walked away to get a mead, and while you're all packing up, you think he might just be grabbing an extra drink, but then he starts walking towards them.
Sass is a lightweight and is exhausted, so she's going to sleep.
Okay. But would anyone else like to join Fear in going up to the band? All right. Fear, and it's simple enough. You see Fiora is putting away her fiddle. You see the half-orc and the Fearbog are already pouring themselves drinks. You can see they're clearly pouring from their own alcohol, which is immediately upon stepping up, you can smell that it's heavier stuff. As you see, the halfling is sitting on the back of the wagon. She seems, she's probably a teenager, and she's just sort of kicking her legs and still playing on the flute. She seems to really only care about performing. And Fiora turns around and brushes off some ash from the pyrotechnics and soot and dirt, and looks over and puts her hands on her hips and looks at you with the flag in your hands. And says, "Oh, what have you got here?"
This is for you. I just wanted to show my appreciation. It's been a long time since I heard somebody speak of the nature the way you do. Reminded me of home.
You see she graciously leans forward and takes the cup from you. And you see she pulls from her waist her own flagon, clearly of the make of that artisan. Pours her portion in, and she looks at you and holds that up for a cheers. If you still have
Wait, so she didn't take my drink, or?
No, she did. She took your drink but poured it into her own cup.
Gotcha, okay.
Yeah, if you still have your cup, she'll cheers.
I clink.
It's rare to find those who appreciate the spirits around here. What's your name? And I appreciate your offer. It's lovely.
My name is White-Eye, of the Glacier Men of the Northern Clans.
The Northern Clans, Glaciermen. Are you from Aldhalor? Are you from the Gosu Hunt, or further north?
Further. They call it the Bay of Nor.
Ah, not heard of that place, but I'll sure to visit. And she takes a deep draught from it, and as she wipes her mouth, she looks at you and goes, "It's rare to have folk come up after a show to tell us about their appreciation for the spirits and the slow ones. They're usually much more drunk and interested in the fast ones. But if you're looking for more like-minded folk, there's a tavern in Hyven. You may find interesting to stop by."
Oh? Does this have anything to do with... Oh shit, I can't even remember the name of the thing now. You know what I'm gonna say.
I'll write it in chat.
Oh yeah, the Aradunai?
She,
I say that in a lower tone than
Yeah.
what I was talking about.
She doesn't answer you right away. She takes another drink from her mug, and then she just says, she winks at you. Doesn't answer, but winks, and then just tells you to go to. Well, I'll do it in her voice as I write it down. But I know. Check out the red dandelion. In Piscator's Row, in Hyven. Just off the the main road, facing outward toward the bay by the walls. Folk there appreciate what you're talking about. But it was a pleasure to meet you, White Eye. Thank you for the drink.
Pleasure to meet you, Fiora. You have a good night. I hope we will see each other again soon.
She holds a hand out to shake your hand.
I shake her hand.
And she pulls you in closer, and you feel like, for her frame, much more strength here than you would expect. And she just whispers, "To finding the gods in the rivers, the streams, the mountains, the storm, and all around us, and part of us." And let's go of your hand.
And I don't really know how to respond to the secret code, so I say something in Abyssal that I used to say a lot growing up, which is just spirits bring you fortune. But I say it and it sounds very scary.
Yeah. She doesn't seem scared by it. In fact, she seems impressed by it. As you see, she smiles a big smile, wide-eyed at you. And you can see these very, especially where their eyes are wide, she has these pale blue eyes that stand out. She smiles and she finishes the mead you offer to her and nods. And hands you the mug and puts it in your hand, shakes it again, and says, "A gift for your generosity. Go with the spirits." She turns around and walks back to the group, where she immediately grabs the flask from the half-orc and takes a draw from it.
I think Fearn like turns around and like acts cool, and then like as he's walking away, he just does a little fist pump, like yes.
Excellent. So yeah, as everything quiets down and the torches are put out, and you have just your campfire now, there's maybe one other campsite here, which is that family that stayed late. But this place becomes quite empty at this point as it shifts to nighttime, in the deeper dark of nighttime. Is there anything anyone would like to do before going to sleep?
Drink that drink.
Bruce might catch Septimus before heading to bed, and just what do you think of this crew? I know they're close to, they're pretty fucking cheap as far as mercenaries go, and they're pretty I don't want to say adamant, but keen on leaving it regardless of the price. So I just was curious your thoughts.
I've thought of that as well, but to be completely frank, there's nothing I have that they can steal, and my home is nearly destroyed. I'm kind of my wit's end. I need some sort of assistance, and if they can get rid of the raccoons and that be the end of it, then that's fine with me.
All right, I always have an eye over my shoulder, just as a cautionary. Yeah. Anyway.
As do I. But speaking of which, Septimus will reach into his pocket and pull out 4 gold. 4 of the 5 that Autobahn gave him, and he'll hand it to Bruce. It's like, you've stayed much longer than you should have, and this is for you.
Septimus, why don't you hold on to that? I can I've got
Please, I insist. I've hired you for a job. and
Yeah,
it didn't
and
turn
guess
out the
what?
way it planned. So,
Right, and still here because, well, the current payment is for me to observe Salvatore. As long as you let me look at him again, and I feel like I'm getting somewhere. And every time I do look at him, I'll have a better understanding of enchantments, and I can apply it to future work. So I'd
um,
appreciate that as payment.
very well.
And root vegetables as much as I poke fun at that.
Maybe sometime you can tell me more about whatever device that you were fixing for Kyle.
Ah, the gramophone. Yeah, it plays music on its own.
Fascinated by it. I've never seen anything like it before.
Yeah,
Cal seemed to be quite interested in it as well. What does it do?
it plays music, um, off of a disc, like how do I say it? It's like a little module that plays a specific sound or song, and it's stored on a disc, and you put it in the gramophone, and it'll play it as much as you like. Or I mean, you have to reset it, but
Fascinating.
it's popular in Hollywood.
I feel like
yeah.
there's quite a bit we can learn from each other.
I think so as well. I'll draw up a little blueprint of how it functions, and so you can, if you want to do the repairs yourself, you could, and also might be a better item for selling going forward if you've got the scrap.
I would like that. And I can offer you more information as to the nature of me getting, or me applying an extra, my attachment.
Yeah. I wanted to ask about that, but I know you're ritualistic about it, so didn't want to cross any lines. Just not yet. Maybe a little bit, but
Well, my faith makes it work for sure, but I understand the basic function of it.
yeah. With that, I'm gonna try to figure out how to set up this tent now.
That is what?
Oh, my tent. It's a brand new one. It's got three. It's like a trifold, but yours is much nicer. I just got the discount. Single person.
You
I
see
imagine-
Jacques off to the side, just laying there as invisible hands manufacture a tent for him, and he crawls inside. Just in the background as Bruce is like struggling.
It's not a stand-up tent.
Oh. Yeah. No, because that's too big. He can't carry that around with him.
He'll work up to that.
Yeah. Once we get the bag of holding for everyone.
Oh, yeah, one of each for everyone.
Yeah, exactly. You guys can do that, right?
Yeah.
Mass
Oh,
produce
yeah.
them.
Yeah, I imagine Fionn has had his things, his camp set up, but it's really just like, it's not much. He's got like a little bedroll that he's like cleared out an area for, but he's just sitting near the fire, slowly nursing the drink that was given to him and humming along to the music that he heard earlier.
Sass is straight up sleeping on the ground. Hat over her face.
Yeah. So I imagine Septimus and Bruce were having this conversation on the opposite side of this camp square. Off to themselves, where the three of you are setting up your area on the opposite side. You know, close together, but not like someone looking on would think you two are different campgrounds. If it weren't for the fire between you all. As you can easily go to sleep for the night. And it's easy sleeping. The summer breeze is not too hot this evening. As we've entered into Maravala, when things do start to get a little bit more fall-like, there's a very rapid transition from summer to fall in Aradun. As you can see, even looking up, the gas giant Vero is very prominent in the sky. Out in the country like this, the sky is very clear. You can see all the stars, and you can see floating up there is an indigo-colored moon, full. That not too far. It's a very beautiful sky. As you all drift off to sleep. And I think that's where we'll take a break. So we will be back in 5 to 10 minutes, folks, to jump into the last bit of travel, and then approach the farm. Take care of the experimental raccoons. See y'all in 5-ish minutes. See you soon, folks.
See you soon, folks.
You're
Pink.
pink.
Oh, he's pink. Welcome back, everybody, to Adrift in Aldhalor, our Advantage in Paradise campaign 2. Our heroes have just fallen asleep after a lovely day at the farmer's market called Fairehold, where they've purchased some food and other things, gotten some free lemons, and listened to a rather prominent bard from this region, Fiora Bendega, known as the People's Bard. And Ian even got a little bit of free merch with that mug after buying her a drink. And you all got to enjoy some love before going to bed for the evening. And now we come back as you all begin to wake up. First, Septimus wakes up because he's an early riser. I guess of all of you, like, what is your character's sleeping habits? Like, I know Septimus wakes up typically.
I'm an
around
early
5 or
boy.
6.
I'm an early farm boy. Gotta get up early, tend to the fields, do work. Done that my whole life. Up at the crack of dawn.
How about Sass?
Fear.
Or Fear?
Yeah. I was gonna say Fearin is kind of similar. Not more about like getting out the crack of dawn to work. It's more like always staying vigilant and like, you know, just getting the minimal amount of sleep that he needs every night to, you know, keep him up and running and, you know, good.
Okay. Sass?
Sass is a snorer and kind of flip-flops a lot around in her sleep. And usually she would wake up and like do her appreciation of the sea, but there is no sea to be found, so she sleeps in.
It's a stream.
Yep.
Not the
Jaquette?
same. I know you you like to be clean.
Yes, Jaquette though still, you know, is a bit of a night owl. Not much of a morning person. He does like generally wake up, like around like, you know, with the sun because it's hard not to. But he will lay in bed until the last minute, and then make everyone else late while he gets ready.
Excellent. And Bruce?
Bruce, he is visually like always sprawled out. He sleeps in as much as he can, and he, you know, it takes him a little while to like really wake up. But if, you know, shit hits the fan, he can get up in a pinch.
Yeah.
With a headache. Yeah.
All right.
But, he breathes very heavily too.
I imagine it's very different snoring. So like Sass has like traditional human snoring, but I imagine Kobold snoring is different. Long snoot.
Yeah.
He's a mouth breather, mouth snorer.
A mouth breather. Amazing.
Okay, so Septimus, you're the first to awake. So the thing is, Septimus wakes more out of habit than with the sun. it's usually still a little dark when Septimus wakes up. And you hear the now familiar to you sound of Bruce's mouth snoring, but with a new dissonant tone added to the orchestra as Sass, on the ground in the middle of the camp, is unleashing a very nasally snore to contrast with the mouth snore. You can see Fearin is not quite awake yet, but he looks like he could wake up at any moment.
And my eye is always open. My dead eye.
Yeah, and he has one eye closed, but the eye that you know is clouded over and is not an actual eye is always open, and I imagine even moving a little bit, not rapidly moving, but moving around in an odd, off-putting way. And Fearin, this sometimes messes with your dreams. Sometimes when you're dreaming, you can still feel and see some of the real world within the dream. It creates for a very disorienting dream sometimes. And I imagine Jacquette is just tucked away nicely in his tent, not even visible.
Like a little fur ball.
Yeah. But you wake up first. What would you like to do?
Waking up first, kind of moving with the dusk. That still is out right now. I'll move away from the camp, kind of to the outskirts where nobody can kind of see me. And I'll find a little area, clean up some of the dirt, lie out whatever mat I have, light some candles, and perform my religious rites, chanting and praying towards the mechanical arm that is affixed to my back.
So I imagine this is the only moment while you've been with these travelers, other than Bruce, that you reveal.
I guess that's true. I don't even think I mentioned that I have a mechanical arm last session.
No, and I imagine you would have had it hidden away.
Yes, the entire time it was hidden. But from my backpack emerges this mechanical arm, where I am lighting incense and rubbing certain oils on it, as I'm saying, "Knowledgeable wisps, guide me, guide this device, that it may work properly," and kind of praising and doing stuff like that.
Absolutely. And as you do all of this, the arm almost snake-like comes out of the bag and gently comes before you, so you can put the proper rites to it. And as you do so, it does seem to come alive a bit. Sense of the mechanical parts of it become seemingly stronger. To a passerby, they would notice this. To someone more attuned to mechanics, might just think that it's starting up, so to speak. But in your mind's eye, you are awakening.
Yep. And then once I conclude, immediately fold up my stuff, repack it, conceal everything back in my backpack, and head back to the camp. And I guess I'll wait until everybody else wakes up.
Absolutely.
Or until it's a time that's all right, time to wake people up.
Yeah, absolutely. I imagine it's not too long after you return to the camp that Fearin would awake in his natural state. And then shortly after that would be Jacquette, as the sun is fully out, although he may lounge. But I imagine Sass, you can only sleep in so much because you're out in the open, so the sun will bear down on you eventually to prevent you from sleeping
with
in.
my hat.
And with your hat, you'd be able to go a little longer.
Yeah.
So I imagined as you're maybe getting breakfast ready, Fear, and you wake up, Jacquette, you wake up and maybe sit up, but don't really get out of your tent.
I imagine that Fear, knowing this, would as he's waking up, he'd stand up and then not steal her hat, but just tap it so it falls off her face, so she has to wake up to put it back on at least.
What the fuck?
So all four of you are awake. Bruce is still mouth snoring. Is there anything you'd like to do this morning?
Being practicing fire safety and putting out the smoldering embers from the night before.
Absolutely.
feel like fire safety was putting them out the night before.
Yeah, when somebody was watching it, right? Yeah, but he figured if it sets it's if something happens and he's standing there, he could do something about it. But now that he's leaving, he thinks it's the right thing to do.
All right.
And yeah, just getting ready to get up on the road. I imagine I greet everybody good morning. Like I as soon as they wake up. Like I don't really rush people besides like knocking Sass's hat off. But I am also not
But never sleep.
Never. But yeah, I would be doing everything I can to prepare us, like packing things up, trying not to be like purposely not being quiet about it.
Yeah, making sure people can like hear that you're packing up, so if they are lazing about, they might start packing up.
Yeah, I'll join in with that, and particularly make noise outside of a certain somebody's tent.
You hear muttering from inside. In 10 minutes later, the tent, as if on its own, starts to pack itself up as Jacques just sits there. And at like a moment, like pushes himself aside, and his bedroll just neatly rolls itself up and ties itself up as his unseen servant is packing up for him.
Do you do anything for yourself?
Of course I do. I buy my own food. I cast my own ritual spells for unseen servants. I mean, Robespierre doesn't come from nowhere. I mean, someone has to have the magic.
It's not quite what I meant.
It's me. I have the magic.
And
You hear that, Robespierre? You don't exist without me. Jacques says to no one in particular.
Just a floating, rolled up. Okay. So the four of you are all packed up. I mean, for some of you, it's a little more involved. Sass, you kind of just sit up. Since all your belongings are on you.
There, yeah, I got everything, but I'll go kind of like squat down next to Bruce and just kind of like poke him, just help him. We're getting ready to go. We're getting ready to go. You don't want to be left behind, do you?
No, I don't. Yeah, all right.
Do you know you snore when you sleep?
Okay.
You both do.
Really?
I
I don't feel it.
don't hear.
Maybe that's why my mouth's always dry.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Hmm.
I thought that was kind of just a normal thing.
Right?
And as you
I did
debate
too.
Yeah.
waking up and the feelings you all have when you wake up based on your own flaws, you gather everything together and you all can head off for the day. Because it's still going to take a day and a half, because you only traveled half a day yesterday. So this will be your main day of travel, and basically only travel. The roads are boring and empty and lined with short tops of trees, stone walls, and endless fields of farm. Most of it which has already been harvested and is now just turned over dirt.
Did you say barley is the principal crop of this area?
I'd say barley is a.
Oh no, I thought you said barley. I wasn't sure.
No, I didn't say barley.
Oh, okay.
I said tops of trees and stone walls and fields of turned over dirt. I didn't say barley.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And barley.
So I wouldn't know what's in the
No,
fields.
because the fields have been mostly harvested, they're just turned over
Okay.
dirt.
Turning to Septimus, Jacques goes, what do they normally farm around here?
Well, the summer months have ended. Most around these parts is a lot of grain, wheat, rye, flax.
This kind of climate?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Fantastic. Good to know.
Yeah, you got wheat, soybean.
So a lot of
It's
grains,
rice.
you sing. Okay. Very carb-heavy diet around here, I'm assuming.
Yeah, but you also get some cabbages. some
Cabbages. Onions. Very good, very good.
Radishes.
Oh, radishes. Well, who said that?
So you look up in the sky,
I
and the
didn't-
cloud goes, I love
I didn't-
radishes.
Oh my god!
um,
But now the fields have been tilled over, so most of them will now have a lot of pumpkins, squashes, things of that nature.
Well, yes, this is all well and good. But tell me, Septimus, will you be joining us in glorious combat when to get rid of this raccoon problem you've hired us for?
You parsed us for.
Too much farming talk.
I will assist in any way I can. I don't have really any experience in combat, but I'll do anything to get rid of these creatures.
Do you have a weapon?
Septimus pulls from his side his forging hammer, and he's like, I would use this.
I reach back behind myself out of my behind my pack. I pull out a shield and I hand it to him. If you feel like you can't if you can't handle what's happening, use this. Keep yourself safe.
Yes, if you're a coward, hide behind the metal shield.
Never mind him. We'll
Having
handle
the
the heavy
shield-
lifting.
Yeah, it doesn't-
You should know your
I-
limitations.
I could handle that. I mean, I am hiring you to do the job for me.
Yeah, shut
Well,
up.
if you die, I don't get paid.
That's not true. We loot the body. Come on, you should know this by now.
I'm sorry, I like to do things a little bit more on the up and up. I'd rather see this man live.
Of course, we all would, but in the instant that he does die, Jacques says as we fade to.
Yeah, I just roll my eyes and say, "Do you want the shield or not?"
I will happily take it from him.
all right. And as you take the shield and Jacquet keeps proselytizing.
Pontificating about whether it doesn't matter whether he lives or dies, we get paid.
Yeah,
It's
and making
Schrodinger's
everyone-
paycheck, baby.
And making everyone uncomfortable about the moral ethics of adventuring. It's about halfway through the day, Septimus, that you would know that you are approaching an area of ruins where hidden something. Like to tell the party to stop
Everyone,
for a moment.
just one moment. Need to make a quick stop. I left something here.
Take a piss? Of course, me too, Jacques says as he walks off the road.
Going off to the side of the road, Septimus approaches a mound that is emerging from the ground that's been kind of covered with old leaves and foliage and stuff. From where he remembers that he left his companion, and he'll brush it off, and then just seeing him there, he'll stand there in front of it and be like, "Sal, activate."
And anyone watching who would have followed off the road, I mean, imagine Jacquet is just taking a piss near these ruins.
Definitely on one of the walls.
Yeah, I figured. As in addition to the sound of the piss and in nature, you hear the mound shake when you see the leaves start to fall off, the branches start to fall off, as a autonomous creature stands up from beneath it and wipes themselves off. Mike, what does Salvatore look like?
The best image I come up with my team is like K2SO from Rogue One, but it is probably like a 7-foot tall humanoid automaton, like bald head, plain face, no really like facial features except for there being eyes and kind of like a mouth slit. Long, lanky arms with a wide torso or long torso, with light blue shining from its eyes. Dark black metal with etchings of old runes throughout its body.
Yeah, and the old runes throughout its body seem to be in radial figures, where it's just sort of like a curved part of a circle is etched in with runes creating a line, and they're just sort of all over in these what might seem like a mismatch of lines, but when looked at from like the whole, clearly show a design. But it just stands up and just sort of, you can just hear kind of like a very light humming noise from its chest, and it's shaking its parts and kind of like some screeches of metal against each other as it gets itself comfortable, and then just sort of looks up, doesn't make any noise, and just nods. Septimus.
I
And looks to
imagine
you all.
as the creature nods, Fearn just like when he realizes what's happening, he lets out a loud battle cry, and by the time the creature looks up, he's got his greatsword in both hands, like pointing towards the creature, just like holding it at like a swinging position, and just saying, "Get out of the way, Septimus."
Creature kind of cocks its head at Fearn and then looks to Septimus.
Turning around, she's like, "There's no need to worry. Sal is mine. He responds to me. He's not an enemy."
I don't know. The last one of these I saw, I had to rip into pieces.
Yes, but it didn't wave at you like that, did it? It's friendly.
No, but it did make a loud noise like this one did.
It didn't make
Look,
any noises.
this is a harmless automaton.
Put your sword away. You don't see
Please don't.
Walking
that up.
back out through the woods, Jacques was like, it's always nice to drain the main. Oh my god, what is that? Hello.
As I was explaining, this is Salvatore, my companion. Salvatore, this is Saskia, Jacquette, and Fionn.
LaRue.
They,
My name is LaRue. It's not Jacquette. I don't know how you've heard that name.
I'm sorry. It's LaRue. I apologize.
I gave myself
It's
a
okay.
sticky note to remind myself.
Yeah, I gotta do that too now.
I'm just trying to make all of your lives more difficult every
Yep.
Monday night.
Like Kieran.
I have hired them to help with our infestation problem, so they shall be our guests and treat them in the same capacity that you have with Bruce.
Goes to literally shake each of your hands.
Bjorn has lowered his sword, does not shake his hand, and
Seems a little
notably does
rude.
not put the sword away, like is holding it lowered, but is like still on guard.
It's like
And
big.
Go ahead. Yeah, I mean, like if it comes at him with his hand, he would just not shake it and be like, "I'm watching you."
Pulls its hand away and walks back over to Septimus. For those of you who did shake his hand, its hand is very large, and it is like it takes up like your whole forearms when you shake the hand. It's not like heavy though. Like it's actually surprisingly light. As you can see, it's just a very like this. Got two big fingers, one thumb-like finger.
Chameleon hands.
What hands?
Chameleon hands.
Ah, yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, this is quite the friend you have here. So between yourself, I'm sorry, what was its name?
Salvatore, but
Salvatore.
I call him Sal.
Sal. So between yourself, your machine friend, and the trapper, the three of you couldn't deal with the raccoons?
Sal's not a fighter.
Oh, okay. And neither is Bruce.
No, nope.
I
You're
see why
awfully
we were
judgy.
needed them.
Catsman.
I'm not judgy, I'm just stating facts. I assumed the three of them could deal with some raccoons, but now that I have more information, that's
When you
Sal.
assume, you're judgy.
I'm sorry, I wasn't asking for your outlook on how to deal with people.
You didn't have to.
Did you build this thing?
Sal scratches his head.
I wish, but no. Him and I found each other when I was a boy. I've known him since then.
Ah, the age-old story: boy meets machine.
If you want to hear more about it, I can tell you after we finish our task. But for now, I think we should keep moving on.
Fearn just nods and was taking the lead, or like, heading in the front of the party, but is now staying behind the robot at all costs, at all times.
Yeah, absolutely. You can easily enough be following behind this robot that is, imagine, just walking behind Septimus. And I imagine actually Septimus and Bruce are probably, or at least Septimus is probably leading the way since he knows the way at this point.
Yes.
Jacquette and Sass, give me history checks.
Aye, aye, Captain. History. Oh, it's not good.
4.
Stefan, what was the name you gave me again?
2.
LaRue.
Like
LaRue.
the street in French.
Yes,
you just got a 4 and a 2.
Surname of LaRue. Yes.
Yeah, I got 2.
Yeah,
4, yeah.
Both of you have heard, you've heard of automatons, constructs, but you don't know that much about constructs in this place. I'd say, Sass, just because you've lived here for a couple years,
Mm-hmm.
you at the very least know that there are constructs all over Aldhalor that are what people call wild. And you have heard that there are some people who look at the robots religiously, and there's people who are very afraid of them. And that's usually the split. Jacquette, you just know about constructs from Gwenvalier, that there are constructs, that there are golems, that there are, some robotic stuff. Domozerum has seen some shipments of automatons from Aldhalor, from Halcyon, but you don't have a lot of experience with them.
Right.
And then Fearin, you know that there are constructs in Aldhalor because you've dealt with them before.
Yep.
But you've only dealt with the wild ones, though. And obviously the ones you guys fought.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so you are traveling. Now, there's not too much activity on the road. You might occasionally see a farmer kind of heading back towards the fairgrounds. Here and there. You might even recognize some of the people from yesterday who are working, heading back to sell stuff again today. But not a lot of people. Seems like Thursday night, Holvizdag night, is the big night, beginning of the weekend for these folk. Because in Asia, they have a 3-day weekend.
Oh, wow. So the workers understand their value and only work 4 days a week.
Yes, you all chit-chat about the...
Actually, yes. The history of my family comes from a land reform program that Governor Saipajan had.
Very interesting.
He relocated a large population from the inner city, which was turning into be riddled with crime from the influx of the refugee crisis, and placed them out here to work the fields.
What refugee crisis?
My parents never talked too much about it, but they had to flee from
Kirinor.
Kiergarden. Thank you.
Kirinor.
Yes.
It's the home campaign. That's
Yeah, I know. I'm mixing them up now.
That's 2,000 years ago it was called that.
From Kirinor.
Okay. And now, did they want to be relocated, or was it a forceful relocation?
Oh no, it was voluntary. They were looking
okay.
to start something of their own.
Bruce and Septimus, you would both know that at the least that the perpetrators of the conflict, Alumno Defiance, that are
Yes.
mostly sellswords now. Okay, but as you're talking about the conflicts and the history of this land and the population here, the land reforms and their 4-day work week, you get through the night, and it's time to settle down for camp again. You can find Septimus. You know about the different pinpoints on this road where there are established campgrounds, so you can stop the group at one of these campgrounds, and you can have a. This is a less secure, so to speak, camping ground because there's not clearly the other one. You had people around you. You were pretty close to the city. This is more out in the fields. You definitely would notice there are actual forests in this area. It's not all agricultural fields. And there is a somewhat, I mean, it's within a copse of trees, but you feel more exposed at this campground. So would anyone like to do anything, or are you just setting up for sleep? Or any watching?
Yeah, Bruce is, in his paranoid nature, he's gonna go ahead and pull out his bag of holding and just start pulling string from it. And he's gonna do an alarm ritual around perimeter of the campsite.
Excellent. You can easily enough use your ritual cast of alarm to create a perimeter. The rest of you just setting up camp, or is there anything you'd like to do?
Septimus would probably be cleaning up Sal, being like, sorry I had to leave you for a couple days in the wilds here. Let me get you cleaned up. And as he does that, and after finishing, he'll do a little incantation of his own for Sal to make sure the spirit within him is appeased.
Easily enough. You perform the rituals, the incantations. You take a little bit of the holy oils that you carry with you, marking in a particular pattern. Chest.
The wisp within him.
Exactly. Yeah, the wisp.
Fearn is clearly just on the polar opposite side of the campsite from Septimus. That's all he's doing.
Okay.
Sass will be just sits down with all her stuff like usual and just kind of fiddling with her amulet, and will fall asleep and start snoring promptly, head over her face.
Yeah, and as you all come to rest, you can see the night sky is again filled with those Vesson plots floating about, glittering in the starlight. Not as visible as they are during sunset, but you can still pinpoint them as the stars behind them kind of warp. It's almost like you can't actually see their outline, but you can see the shape of them warping the light of the stars. But yeah, you can all go to bed. Is anyone staying up to do a watch or anything, or just going straight to sleep for everyone? Trusting the silver
Syrinscape and watch.
alarm spell.
Bruce is just
Conked out.
out for the count.
Yeah.
He
Fear.
tries to be awake, but he just fails.
I'll say Fear. Yeah, you can stay up. As late as you can and give a first watch. So you can go and give a perception check.
Sure.
I got a 7.
7. Okay. Relatively quiet. Truthfully, you're not really watching out. You're more so watching Sal in this watch. So you're not necessarily noticing things going on around camp as much as you're making sure denizens of camp behave themselves.
If at any point does Sal's lights turn off, or
Yes, I imagine Septimus, you deactivate him for the evening.
Yeah, I'll let him rest.
Yeah, so basically right after Septimus falls asleep, you would notice Sal's eyes dim. They don't dim to be completely turned off. They dim to a pinpoint of light behind the eyes.
imagine there's one point in the night, later on where I like like I get close to Sal and I lean in to the creature
Mhm.
to just like not touching it, but just to get like a closer look.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you want to do an investigation check?
Sure. Nat 20.
Yeah.
Um,
So
Specifically, I want to look for, is this thing a any could this thing possibly be malicious? Like, does it have any sort of like hidden,
yeah.
weaponry? And, not what makes it tick, but like, is it something that I would consider, an act against nature?
So when you're looking at it, there's a few things you would notice with that very high investigation. One, the automatons you fought before that were more violent were burlier than this one. This one is tall. It's very tall, but its arms are very lanky. Its hands seem more designed just to pick things up, more so than to attack. The only place where there might be some nefariousness hidden is in its chest chassis, because that is the largest place on its body that could hide anything. But for the most part, its arms are too thin to be hiding like blades or weapons. Its legs are too thin. It seems you're not even sure what its purpose is, truthfully, looking at it. And there's not anything you can pinpoint on it that looks malicious. Doesn't necessarily mean that you are trusting of it, because it still seems to you like the antithesis to natural world. But this is humanoids trying to construct spirit to an entity.
I think I get a little too close and I almost like scare myself out of it. Like I look like deep into like the chest cavity through like a small crack, and I think I see a faint glow of something, and I pull back.
Yeah,
and then
absolutely.
I just like go back to where I was like resting before.
Totally,
Not
absolutely.
feeling any better.
Yeah, there's like that POV shot from the camera inside the chassis with like a little thin line, and you kind of like move your eye close to it, and then there's just sort of this almost like heartbeat light glow, like goes, and you dash back, and you just sort of back away and sit back in your spot, facing
Muttering some abyssal like curse.
Yeah. And I'd say even when you get close, besides before you even got scared necessarily, like you did notice like the eloquent rune etchings on it. They're nothing like your runes. Your runes are very much the like lined runes of traditional kind of Viking aesthetic. These are circular in nature, and have very like alien design. You can definitely tell they're runes though, with your knowledge of your own rune system, but these are alien in nature.
So not Snurfneblin runes.
Definitely not Zvirfneb runes.
Okay, because those are also round, but okay.
Yeah, these are a little more ordered, I'd say, than Zvirfneblin runes.
I think that I would probably sit during the rest of my watch, a little fixated on what I saw, and maybe quickly jot down a sketch of those runes. Just like offhandedly on a sheet of like scrap paper that I had in my pack.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you're like looking at these runes, like from a naked eye that's not adept at the idiosyncrasies of runic magic and runes themselves, I mean, you're not necessarily a rune fighter, but you believe in the power of runes. They are, to the naked eye, they would look very similar. Like they would just look like a lot of circles, but they have weighted areas where there's more lines bisecting the circle and other more chaotic looking shapes, but all within this order of the circle. They look like someone made a language out of coffee stains on a table. in there that they like blew through so that the water displaced a little bit. They
I think I would probably do like some sort of like novice, like I try and be solving the puzzle for something that I'm clearly like not capable of solving by just using the knowledge that I know. So I'd be like writing down runes that I know that are like of similar shapes and sizes to like parts of the rune structure that I saw in there,
yeah.
and trying to like draw over, some of my runes so they're like interlacing, and just like basically just scribbling on a piece of paper at a certain point. Like I basically get frustrated and give up.
Yeah, I
But
imagine it's like someone trying to decipher any kind of cipher. You're trying to find similarities and repeated patterns, and like anyone trying to discern a cipher, that first, half hour of looking at it, it's so frustrating that. But you do have, by the end of it, this page is covered in runes and sketches.
I think at some point I'd crumble up the piece of paper and throw it away, and then I start with a new sheet, and I start writing a letter, which I'll keep a secret for now.
Excellent. So you spend the waning hours of your night writing this letter before you can't help but fall asleep.
Yep.
And you all wake up nice and early the next day. Well, some of you. And can prepare for the last leg of the journey, because it's only going to be a couple hours, 3 or 4 hours until you reach the homestead itself. But everyone wakes up the next morning. Nothing dangerous got you all in the night. The alarm spell didn't trigger. But you all wake up to your morning rituals. And I imagine when everyone wakes up, Septimus and Sal are already up and about. But is there anything you would all like to discuss before you reach the homestead as you're walking?
So as we're going, Jacquet, either falls back or moves forward to be in line with both Bruce and Septimus and goes, "So, what exactly should we be expecting at your homestead?"
Ravenous claws and meaty fangs.
Sure. But, are they inside? Are they outside? Are in the basement? In the attic? Give us a little more context, if you will.
My complex is comprised of a farmhouse, 2 stories tall, with about 7 bedrooms. There is a cellar. My workshop is next door, along with a work shed that houses tools and a lot of scrap metal I had. The raccoons have been seen everywhere but the work shed. We saw them in the house, upstairs and downstairs. They're in the shed as well. And when we get there, you'll find that half of my house is also gone. Due to the volatile elemental nature of these animals. The one that we were able to kill was charged with thunder, with a thunderous power. And upon death, let it all out, I guess.
Okay, so everyone remember, when you kill one of these things, don't stay close.
If we're to avoid causing further damage, I guess it would probably be best if we brought them all outside.
That would probably be best. Based on the limited interaction I have with them, they seem to be attracted to certain type of metal, particularly the one that Sal is created with. Hence why I took him away and hid him before I traveled.
Now, I don't really recall Septimus, but do we have any of the scrap metal of what Salvatore is made of? Or,
I do have some of it still in my workshop. You shaved
Alright.
off some to
right,
place on the traps.
right. Sorry. Everything was a little foggy that night.
I know. You've told me multiple times that you don't like eating root vegetables. It's probably what caused it.
Yeah, they're a little fermented. at that point.
I plucked them straight from the ground.
I don't know what happened.
Well,
Those
root vegetables
lollipops and
aside,
everything, they were laced with something.
could we use Salvatore as a bait?
We
You
have
know.
other scrap metal.
Yes, of course, of course. But if we want to get them all out at once, put the prime rib out instead of the, scrap meat.
Well, I don't know if it's a good idea to,
That's out of the question. I wouldn't put Sal in any danger.
Oh, he wouldn't be in any danger at all. The moment the raccoons come out, we take care of them. We just want to make sure that all of them come out at once. And I
Right.
just worry that with scrap metal, we won't get everything. You understand?
Well, maybe we tear up. So back in Halcyon, we have got plumbing, and you wanna slowly drain a pipe if it's too full of shit, and as we say, and back at Koboko, don't worry about it.
I've seen what these things can do, and I refuse to put Sal in any harm's way there.
Okay,
wouldn't
okay,
be-
so
He wouldn't be by himself if we used him as bait. I can go invisible, so I can
Oh.
stand with him.
Oh,
I'd lose my entire house before I let
okay.
anything harm Sal.
So you
Fair
say that there is scrap in your workshop?
Yes.
Okay, so
We could start
we will-
there to at least try to lure them out, but
Right.
if that doesn't give, then we take them out whatever way we need to.
Okay, sounds like a plan then.
Right. So the plan is to approach, try to get to the shed to get some materials to lure the rest of them out, and fight any of them along the way that show up. Sounds good.
Yep.
So, the hours of the morning go by as you are approaching the area that you know the dirt road leads off to the homestead. It's around 11:30 when you reach the road. Septimus, your homestead is an hour off the road, so you begin to lead the group off into this trail that is much more amongst the wilderness. There's pretty dense forest, I think, that disconnects Septimus's homestead from the main road, more so than you've seen so far, since Septimus's homestead is in a bit more of a wilderness than some of the other agriculture. Although you have seen other farms in the area, and he does have neighbors there. There's just a bit more of a forested nature to this, with instead of.
I have a quick question, Sean.
Yeah.
Since we are so far away from the ocean, am I feeling any sort of way, like, because we're so far away from the ocean?
I mean, your mind is very quiet.
That's nice.
You know, you've noticed a bit more peace in your head, further from the sea you've been.
Mm-hmm.
Been able to kind of have a clearer head where things might be groggy. You haven't heard any voices in your head in a long time.
That's very nice.
By a long time,
By a long time, you mean what?
a couple days.
Cool.
And similarly, Jacquette and Fearn, you have not noticed Saskia talking to herself since you got to the Aldhalor Island. But could you all give me a marching order as you're walking down this dirt road?
I'll be somewhere in the middle.
Bruce
I'll
is
be leading.
dead
I'll be leading
last.
with Cal close behind me.
I'm right behind them. Second.
Well, then I guess I'll be towards the back, reveling in, is this what it's like to have a clear mind?
Jaquette, where are you?
I guess I'll say Jacquette is in the middle.
Right, then I'm in the
You're-
back.
And then Bruce, I imagine you're with Sass in the
Oh,
back?
dead last.
Yeah,
Yeah.
figured. Yeah. So I imagine actually, like, instead of like this is not like a single file. You have Sal and Septimus up front. You have Jacquette and Fearn in the middle, and you have Sass and Bruce at the rear. So it's an hour in until you get to the homestead. Is anyone keeping an eye out? Yeah.
Two things. One, at one point, Jacquette like elbows Fear and goes, I think I saw him do something, pointing towards Sal. Did those ruins light up?
Do I fall for this?
If you want to do a deception check versus an insight, fine with that.
I think fear. Yeah, let's do that.
All right.
Or if you feel like Fearn wouldn't, that's fine too.
It's a nat 1. Jacquette is not. I mean, I was not trying to be super convincing. He was teasing Fearn, but it's very obvious that he's trying to tease Fearn.
Fearn would take his like little warning very seriously and like stare at it, but then like his eyes would bulge out when he says these things, but then like quickly looking at the creature and not seeing any change, he would his eyes would quickly change form into a squint, and he would just step on his toe. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
Jacquette's just laughing like a very like throaty and then steps. Oh,
All the while,
It
Bruce
was
and
a
Sass are
joke.
watching this.
learn to take a fucking joke, Jacquette says as he speeds up a bit to get in front of Fearn.
All right. So, is anyone keeping a keen eye out?
Yes.
Nope.
Whoever is giving
No,
me a
until
keen
I
eye-
get to the entrance
Okay.
of
give
the
me
pastures.
perception checks.
But
for
Bruce
those who are-
Bruce is following blobs.
18.
22.
18, 22. Okay. So LaRue, you would smell it first better than everyone else because you've got a keener nose with your cat-like reflex senses. You smell like burning, like smoke, but also a little
Oh, no.
sulfur. And Fearn and Jacquette would both notice above the tree line. It's there's a fairly high canopy here, but the two of you, since you're keeping a keen eye, notice a little bit of smoke in the distance. Probably not super far ahead, like maybe like 10, 15 minutes ahead of you. Not far enough to be the actual homestead.
Well, yeah. So Jacquette still goes, Septimus, how far away is your homestead?
It's not too much farther. Probably another mile or two.
Like a half hour away.
A half hour away, so a little more than that.
There is something burning not too far away.
Upon seeing the smoke, is that about where my house is?
It's a little bit ahead of your house.
Ahead of
Not quite.
Fearn, once like the smoke is pointed out, he shoves past the others and runs towards it.
And now we shouldn't run off. Okay.
What would the rest of
That
you
is in
do?
the direction of my house. Come, Sal. And Septimus will kind of hurry up as well.
Yeah, I'll follow.
Jacquette goes to the side into the woods and sneaks forward.
Okay.
Crossbow
Wait, Sass,
at
come
the
back.
ready.
Bruce goes running after Sass. Jacquette, give me stealth roll.
Hell. Yeah.
Fucking
ahead.
rogues.
26.
Um,
Lucky roll.
So yeah, Sal, I'm sorry, not Sal. LaRue. Sorry, Jacquette. You
Actually, it's the other name, Kunitai,
Gloveless.
Gloveless.
Yeah, Gloveless. That's your other nickname. You disappear. No one can see Jacques. He disappears into the forest.
So I imagine then when I saw people take off, I think I would have run after LaRue and I'd just start calling, LaRue! Out just into the forest.
Oh my god. Okay, yes. So, and Bruce, you followed Sass, right? Okay, so
Where the
Bruce and
fuck did
Sass,
you go?
you both
LaRue!
run into the forest, and immediately
God.
LaRue is gone. And you can't see the
fuck
road
did he
right
go?
now because there's a lot of trees around. The two of
Oh,
you are
shit.
just
We're
kind of
lost.
in the woods right now. Not too lost, but for a moment you're really lost because LaRue disappeared. The other two are running ahead on the road, so they're clearly running a little faster.
Where did they go? I don't
I don't know.
You can
Catman!
follow the sound
From the
of-
brush,
Okay.
you see his head just pops out and goes, "Get on the damn road and don't follow me." And then,
I don't know which way the road is.
You start to hear the stomping of Sal in the distance, and you can easily enough find it next to the road.
It's this way. Come on. Are you like little? Like could I pick you up?
Yeah, he's tall for like he's like a kobold.
Yeah.
He's like, depending
Sass,
how strong you are.
You'd be moving at half speed if you carried him. Actually,
Sorry.
what is your strength, Sass?
Not good. it's to 10. I have a plus 0.
You probably can't carry.
Okay. I was gonna try and be nice.
Yeah.
You know what? Maybe I start and it's like, you know what? I think we'll move faster if we both just use our own legs.
All right. Yeah, that's fair.
Sass is a little winded as she starts running. But you two, easy enough, find it back to the road. You're only like 10 or 15, or you're like 20 feet behind the other two, or three. As you're all running forward, LaRue, you can smell that sulfurous smell more and more as you get closer. And after about 5 or 10 minutes, all of you start to smell the sulfurous smell as you're rounding the crooked bend of this road. And Sal and, or actually no, Fearn would see this first and then Sal. You would see where there's kind of like this like slight rock cropping where there's like a little bit of a hill on either side of the road. You can see there is a wooden barricade of scrap, like doors pulled off hinges, broken wood. A wooden barricade, and from behind that is you can see this smoke coming up from behind it. As I'm going to switch us over to the battle map.
Oh, that's a level 3 battle map we got there. Boop, boop, boop. Yeah, no, that's why I said it.
I like the lighting moving back and forth, Sean. That's pretty cool. He can't hear
Look
me.
at the raccoon. I love it so much.
He's like, fuck your house.
Your dining room table, your doors. I can't believe they built a barricade. That's amazing. Oh no, we can't. Oh.
Well, it's okay. They can hear me, so that's
Yeah,
all they need.
That's all that
That's
matters.
all that matters. Well, I mean, you're gonna have to repeat everything Sean says.
I mean, I already do mentally, so.
That's fair.
That's Sal.
That's Sal. Like, he's so cute.
Oh, he's using the Modron mini.
Yep.
Amazing.
Sean, they can't hear you. So saith the Baron, and I believe him due to the station.
Bjorn. First. Woo! First initiative.
Bam, here we go.
Let's do it. Oh hell yeah!
Uh,
$19.
15.
15.
Oh, rollies. Or dicks.
Oh. Septimus could just go.
Oh, sure.
Oh, guys.
7.
3.
That's not 5 to 9, Clayton.
I was the last one.
It's so hard, right?
It's alright, Kieran can show up. Kieran, obliterate.
My dexterity is +3. Hell yeah. Take that. Yep. That's fine. Yeah, that's okay. Do you have Scarlet? Did you Scarlet? Oh.
No, you're a pointy-headed
Yeah.
flask.
Okay.
Yay.
Yeah, can I see this, can I see the raccoon? Just... Okay. Alright, well then that's it. Yeah, no, I'm gonna save that. Alright, yep, I'm just coming up and huffing and puffing and waiting for the raccoons to show up. You're still muted, apparently.
Oh no.
Nope. Yeah, no worries. Weird. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
We're gonna go to a quick break so we can fix this. Stupid tep goblins. Be right back.
Testing to see if you folks can hear me. Can folks in stream hear me? Those in the party listening, can you hear me on the stream?
Yep.
Okay, thank God. I don't know what happened there. Perfect timing for Stefan to come back. Sorry about that, folks. This, shit happens. This is why we record our audio, in case there's an error issue. Okay. So, Sass, you are holding your action for raccoons to appear?
Yes. I'm holding an Eldritch Blast.
Okay. All right. So it is the raccoon's turn now, or what you presume are the raccoons. And you can hear scurrying behind the barricade now. As you do see, and Sass, I will let you get off an Eldritch Blast here. You all see that light get brighter as jumping up and on top of that rock to the right there is the fire raccoon. And you see a raccoon, the shape of a raccoon that is the size, though, of a dog. This is not the size of a dumpster raccoon you saw once when you were a kid. This is a very big, fiery raccoon now standing up there. Sass, go ahead and give me an attack roll.
You got it. 15?
What was the roll?
15?
15 hits.
Yeah.
Go ahead and roll damage.
Ooh, very nice. 12 points of force damage. Is it force? Yes, force damage.
Okay. All right, you watch this fire, or this. Describe for us what your Eldritch Blast looks like.
Yeah, totally. So, I hope this is what I remember casting it before, but you see, Sass comes huffing and puffing up, skids to a halt, sees the raccoon, and just raises her left hand and fires out this green beam of eldritch light. But it's kind of got like this like ghostly seaweed around it. and a little bit of seawater like splashes from her hand as she sends out the Eldritch Blast.
All right, and as you do so, you see it knocks this raccoon back, and he like tumbles behind the rock, and then pulls himself back up as the fire kind of like flickers and burns. You hurt the raccoon pretty bad.
Yeet.
As it looks at you, and you see it gets on all fours, and it's like back is low, its head is low, its tail is up in the air, and it starts to go.
Oh no!
And then lobs this globule of fiery spit towards you. I need you and Fearn to both give me dexterity saving throws.
You got it.
Sure.
Don't think that's gonna do it. 9.
12.
Let me check. Those both fail.
Yeah.
Just Fearn, you just failed.
Sean, I didn't really ask you this because it's kind of silly, but as a tiefling, I get resistance to fire. But I don't know, since I'm like icy, should that be cold instead of fire?
I'll say it's up to you, and think about this in the overall, and as opposed to what type of damage is coming to you right now. Because either one can make sense with being icy. Like the iciness could protect you from fire, or it could be the iciness is protecting you more from cold. Whichever one you prefer.
I'm gonna say fire because that's what's on my sheet right now.
Cool, I'm fine with that. All right, so I did roll relatively high here. So that is going to be 13 points of fire damage.
Oh my god.
How many points?
Jesus Christ.
13, just to Fearn and Sass. But you can see the fire of the raccoon is severely depleted after it did this, as if this might have been its big attack. But this raccoon cannot do anything else. But you do notice 3 more raccoons crawl over the barricade.
Oh no.
Oh, but those are normal raccoons. Unless they're stone raccoons.
Or some of them spit acid.
No, they're just unpainted raccoons.
Yeah. They're definitely. Oh shit. They're like right there. Fuck.
Quick buggers.
Oh no. I'm so fucked.
Oh, they're in front of us? Oh my god.
Yes, they used their bonus action dash to get up to you all.
What do they look like?
Oh,
Are they
no.
like...
So this is where I need some rolls. So there's the one obvious fire one, but I need 3 people to roll me a D10. A D10.
Yep, I got 2.
I got 1. 1.
6.
So,
I'll get another one.
re-roll the 1 for me, actually.
Oh shit.
2.
Actually, no. We'll stick with the 1. We'll stick with the 1.
Okay.
The only reason I almost said re-roll is because I don't have another fire mini. Fire one mini, but you did roll fire. So we're gonna use a different mini for that for right now.
Just put that like little red circle on them that you use for stuff. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Like this little condition thing.
Yes, 100%.
Ooh.
Oh.
Zappy boy.
Yep. There's our
So you
lightning.
see this one comes up into I'll just say it's like a bluish purple fire, but it is fire. Okay, so you see the 2 other ones. You see one has Septimus, the familiar acid coming out of its mouth. I'd say the left hand one, the one that's closest to Sal, has acid dripping out of its mouth. The one in the middle, though, has kind of a noxious cloud of fumes, green fumes around it that are kind of coming out of the corners of its mouth. So they're going to make some attacks. So we're going to go for an attack on Septimus from the noxious fume ones. Septimus, that is that's a 8 to hit. I don't think that hits.
And it does not.
Okay, one's going for Fearn. This is going to be the other fire one. Wait, sorry. They have pack tactics.
Yeah.
Oh.
So Septimus, that was actually a 17 to hit.
Oh, fucking. Yep. I did.
Okay, and that is the poison one.
Wait, so which one's
Chance.
which? There's the lighting one on the right. Which one's in the middle?
Middle one is poison. One on the left is acid. The one on the right, it looks like the lightning one, but it's actually a fire one. for the
Oh,
sake
blue
of
fire.
sense. It's blue fire, yeah.
So blue fire, poison. Oh, acid poison.
Acid poison, yeah. Okay, so Septimus, you're going to take 2 points of piercing damage and then 3 points of poison damage.
Okay.
And then Fearn, the fire one actually misses you.
Cool.
Septimus, I know you don't have a stat block for him right now, but for the purposes of Sal, we're going to go with his AC being 16.
Okay. That's fine.
Raccoon against Sal is going to hit. So just keep track of the amount of damage, and I'll let you know if he's getting any more dangerous. So that is going to be 6 points of piercing damage, which I'll say he has resistance to, so that you can make that 3. And then 1 point of acid damage. Okay, that is the raccoons. There are 3 of them out, and then there's what seems to be the captain raccoon, the fire one in the back, squawking at them. It is now Septimus's turn with Bruce on deck, and then Jaquette, and then Fearn. So Septimus, you're up.
I'm just going to give her a. Well, actually, first, as a reaction, I'm going to instruct Sal to retreat, just and flee behind.
Easy enough.
As I'll go for an attack on the raccoon that's attacked him, the one on the far left.
Excellent. Go for it.
Light hammer attack. Nat 20, baby.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
So go ahead and do max damage and then roll for the additional damage.
So max damage would be 1. So 49 plus. Or 8. 12. That'll be 12.
How do you
Bludgeoning
want to do this?
Yes, this thing's weak. Hell yeah. It's just since Septimus is not a fighter, but like seeing these things pop out of nowhere, they attack him, he dodges it, but then seeing the damage that was done to Sal, telling him to retreat, like he like just gets very defensive and just like picks up his hammer and then just smashes the raccoon that's right in front of it, and then kind of like just like immediately like oh my god, what the hell have I just done?
Yeah, you see,
Like, this defensive instinct just came over him.
Yeah, absolutely. As this defensive instinct, you go and you bring the hammer down, and it does the maximum amount of damage it can to this raccoon. And you can see the raccoon immediately gets crushed by this. And you immediately see though that it falls unconscious. Like these raccoons are not dying right away when you kill them. This one falls unconscious, just kind of you basically knock this raccoon out cold. And you can see some acidic blood coming out of the wound. Anything else, Septimus?
Yes, actually. As a bonus action. Oh wait, I thought that was a bonus. Yeah. No, that'll be it then.
All right, Bruce, you're on deck. Jaquette, you're on deck. Bruce, you're 30 feet behind.
Also,
them.
wait, quickly.
Mhm.
Try to retract. I didn't roll initiative for Sal. I can if you want, or you could just have him go on my turn. But
We'll just have Sal go at the end of your turn for now. So we'll
and then have
run
him
away.
just have him just move away as far as he can.
What about opportunity attacks?
I killed that son of a bitch.
Yeah, he's not.
Yeah,
that
but
one's
there's still-
unconscious. Actually,
but
there
there's
is
still
one that's
one-
within range. Yeah.
That's
It's gonna
fine.
go.
You can yeah, figure out for
It doesn't have pack tactics though, because it's actually it's pack tactics. Yep, it does get pack tactics. It is not going to hit Sal with a 10. So Sal runs away. Bruce, you are 25 feet behind Saskia and 30 feet behind where the raccoons themselves are. What would you like to do? Very curious.
So Bruce is gonna. He can't really see that far away,
True.
but he's gonna run even closer. And when he gets within 10 feet, he sees the ball of light that he's familiar with, and he's shit, no, and he's gonna run away, and he's gonna jump on the on the back of Sal as he's running away.
I love that, and you're absolutely able to do that. You come running up, and you come up, and you're right next to Sass, right a little bit behind her, but right next to her, and Sass, you can see Bruce, and then Bruce, you immediately understand what's going on, and you see, or at least vaguely see Sal running, and you're just like, nope, and you're easily able to leap onto Sal's back, who grabs your arm, and because he has a better relationship with you than the others, and yeah, runs away with you.
I am gonna cast Longstrider on Sal.
Excellent.
Amazing. Amazing.
Perfect.
So as I grab him, Bruce just makes a fist and just pounds on his thigh, and you see little like a spark of runes just shimmer, and
Absolutely, and then suddenly, Sal is much faster, by 10 feet exactly. Excellent. All right, Jaquette, you are up. Fearin, you're on deck. Fearin, you are that same 25 feet behind. Or no, you're up front. Jaquette, you are that same 30 feet from the fight. But you're hidden.
Right, so if I move 30 feet, whereabouts would I be?
Since you're to the side, I would say you could, you'd be maybe 30 feet would get you, you see on the right, where it's kind of the little ledge. The furthest you can get is at the base of that ledge, equal with Sass.
Okay.
So you don't have to jump immediately into the fray. You can stay in the...
Right. So if I go along the ledge there with 60 feet of movement, because I use my feline agility, doubling my speed until the end of the turn, could I get within 30 feet of the fire boy, the main one?
Yeah, easily. Yeah, you could get...
Okay.
You could get that with only using 10 more feet.
Okay, perfect. Well, I still need the feline agility, so I'm going to use that to get up there. And then from stealth, I'm going to, Jaquette runs up. He's got his crossbow in his right hand, and he's got his rapier in a reverse hold in his left. As he comes up almost like SWAT style, coming through the woods. He sees them dealing with the three over there now, too. And he sees the main fire guy up on the cliff, and he's like, "There's my target, time to take him out." And he slips in behind a tree, takes aim, and fires the hand crossbow.
Absolutely.
So I'm hidden, right?
You are hidden, so you have advantage.
All right, cool. Okay, that's a 24 to hit.
Oof. Okay. That'll definitely hit.
Perfect. So that's 7 piercing from the crossbow and only 1 from sneak attack.
How do you want to do this?
So I imagine this smoke guy is looking towards the rest of the folk, the party, as Jaquette comes in and shoots him right through the side of the head. The bolt going right through. Clean entry, clean exit.
this guy, so this fiery raccoon, as soon as the bolt goes in and through, you see it just sort of like shoots through. You see a trail of fire following it as the bolt catches on fire, and then the raccoon just sort of like scrambles in a circle before just going, and it does explode with fiery energy, igniting the barricade in flames.
Sorry about your doors, Septimus, Jacquet says as he gets into cover and reloads.
Oh. Gotcha. All right.
Okay. All right. So, Jacquet, you hide in cover.
Yes.
Excellent.
Oh, and then as a bonus action, actually, sorry, Jacquet's gonna shout down to Fjern and goes, "The greater the difficulty, the greater the glory. Go and get them, my friend." And you have bardic inspiration.
Oh, fun.
Excellent.
Does
Here,
that mean
you're
it's
up.
my turn? Nice. All right, Sean. I forgot to mention it before, but could I have used the reaction to get absorb elements there from the fire attack I took?
I would say this time, since we're all new to our characters, yes, I'll let you retroactively absorb elements there.
Okay. Sweet. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna look. Well, first of all, didn't we take out one of those raccoons, or
Yes, but the body is still there, unconscious. It's to the left. The one on the left is knocked out on the ground.
Okay. I have like I have this flaming energy in my hand, and I grab onto the sword, and it bursts into flames, and then I use I think is it an action to use
What?
green flame blade as well?
Green flame blade is
Cantrip action. So
yes, it's part of your but you get to make an attack though, right?
right. So
Yeah,
I'm
but
like
yeah.
I'm looking at the flaming blade that is storing up the raccoon's energy, and I say, "You call that hot? I'll show you hot." And then I cast green flame blade, and it like lights
Wow.
up, and now it's like two different color flames on my sword.
Hell yeah.
And I swing for the nearest. I guess I swing for the flamey raccoon.
All right, go for an attack roll.
All right. Will a 22 hit? I don't know why it's not popping up, but there it is.
Yes, 22 will hit.
Okay, so it's 2d6 plus 5 plus 1d6 fire damage plus the green flame base 5 damage to another
Yes,
creature.
so roll the base damage to the fire raccoon, and then the additional damage would hit the poison raccoon.
So the fire raccoon is going to take 11 slashing damage and 5 fire damage.
Okay, the 5 fire damage. You watch as the blade comes through, and you can see it deals significant damage. It cuts through the fire of the raccoon, and it starts to dim. And then the flames lick off and into the raccoon. And you watch as instead of that shrinking the flame of the raccoon, the flame seems to ignite more as the fire damage heals the raccoon.
Okay. What about the 5? And then I believe it's just the base spellcasting ability modifier.
Yeah, what is your ability modifier?
Spell attack is modifier is +0.
What is your intelligence +0?
Yeah.
All right, so the fire unfortunately is just sort of harmless as it licks across to the acid, or no, the poison raccoon, as the fire kind of gets in its face, and it does get a little disoriented, but it doesn't seem to deal much damage at all.
Green flame blade does nothing then.
Yeah.
Oh well. I'm gonna
Yeah.
use a
At 5th level, it deals extra fire damage automatically.
Yeah, it'll get there. I'm gonna use my second attack with what do you call it? Action surge.
Oh, with
And
action
I'm-
surge. Okay, cool.
And I'm gonna swing again at the flamey boy
Excellent. Go for
because I didn't like that it didn't die.
it. Saskia's on deck after this.
I rolled a 12. Can I use Bardic Inspiration to add to that?
Mm-hmm.
Who's on deck?
What is
Saskia.
it? What is it? The D8 you said?
Stefan,
Jack?
is it a D8 for your...
D6, D8?
D6, sorry.
I got a 12 plus 2 is 14 to hit.
That will hit.
Okay. Swinging damage, 11 more slashing.
All right. You watch as your blade comes down and cuts through, and again, even as that raccoon got brighter after that first hit, you hit just enough to take it out on this one. As the second swipe comes crushing down, as that almost like an X is cut through this raccoon.
Yeah, I want to say, like, the first one I went to slash it, and I saw it grow, so for the second strike, I used the flat end of the sword and kind of just tried to like use it as like a fan to blow him out or to smother him. So I'm just like slapping him down.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you do that, it kind of comes down onto the like the main middle section of it, and it does kind of like split the fire and does put a lot of it out. As suddenly it starts to become unstable and as it does pop.
Could I say that last attack was non-lethal? Would that matter?
You know it would. That you can definitely say it's non-lethal.
Yeah, that last attack was definitely non-lethal because I saw what happened to the last one.
Yeah, absolutely. So you smack this thing with the flat of the blade, and it knocks this raccoon unconscious. You see the fire kind of dissipates, and it kind of actually just becomes this sort of like viscous slop of a raccoon that seems to be whatever the fuel of the fire is. It's just sort of this viscous, gooey raccoon now that's just sort of like as it hits the ground. So there is only one raccoon left, and it is Sass's turn.
Okay. Which one is it?
It is the one in the middle. So it's
The middle one.
So Fearin is between you and it. So you'd have to do a little bit of movement to get over to it.
All right. Can I get around so we can flank?
Yes. And remember, for this campaign, we're doing the +1 flanking. So instead of advantage, you get +1 to your attack.
Right. Okay, cool. I would like to, for my action, even though I'm probably not going to need it, I want to summon my cutlass.
Okay.
So that'll show up in my left hand, and then with my right hand, I would like to use my bonus action to summon a tentacle of the deep.
Okay. So bonus action, Okay, so with your action, you're summoning the sword, right?
Yes.
And then with your bonus action, you're summoning the tentacle of the deep.
Tentacle, and when I summon it, I can make a melee spell attack against a creature within 10 feet of it.
All right, go ahead and give me that attack roll.
21.
Yeah, that hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
8 points of cold damage.
How does the tentacle destroy this raccoon?
Wraps around it and squeezes it. It wraps around it, and since it's cold damage, I imagine like it'll wrap around it and like turn it to ice and then squeeze it, and it'll like shatter.
Okay. All right. So exactly that happens as you see this large. It's not large in D&D size. It's medium, but this medium tentacle comes out and wraps around this raccoon as it starts to slowly freeze it, and then squeezes and shatters it as a plume of gaseous smoke shoots out. And I need Fearn, Septimus, and Sass to give me Constitution saving throws. Fearn, Septimus, we need a con save from you.
6 for Sess.
21.
I think. What did you get, Septimus?
18.
Okay, so Septimus and Fearn, you're good. Sass, you are poisoned for the next hour.
I never took off the condition from the last time I was poisoned, so cool.
But all the raccoons that you can see at this time have been dealt with. And we come out of combat. There is a burning barricade there right now. But you all catch your breath. Bruce, you're a ways back with with Sal at this point, who's just running. Sal just keeps running, like until he hears Septimus call out to him. He's gonna keep running for a little bit. But the rest of you can kind of see, like, I mean, the fire's not large enough that it's gonna like cause a forest fire. It's starting to actually burn out on its own. But there's a thick smoke cloud coming up as you have two unconscious raccoons in front of you. You have the acid one, and you have a slimy mess of a fire one.
Did the poison one exploded?
Poison one was destroyed, yeah. Poison one was killed. And so was the original fire one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take that bench over there, Sean. And I'm assuming it's heavy because it's made of stone. And I'm just gonna place it on top of, like, I'm gonna put both raccoons next to each other, and I'm gonna pin them with the thing, so if they wake up, they like can't escape.
They're stuck under it.
Yeah.
Easy enough to do. You have the two raccoons pinned under it, as a lot of you all come together in this little...
Walking over with his hand crossbow, Jacques is like, I'm sorry, why are we keeping these beasts alive?
Maybe they have information.
They're fucking raccoons, which to my understanding can't speak.
To your understanding, do raccoons usually set things
I don't
on
know what the
fire?
fuck a raccoon is. I've been over this. You people keep talking about these little pandas. I don't know what a panda is either. Do they speak? Is that a thing they do? I don't know. Someone please enlighten me.
They do not speak, but...
So we should just kill them. Jacques says as he raises a hand crossbow towards the fire one.
What if the first time I saw you, I thought that cats didn't speak?
That makes no sense. That makes absolutely no sense because one, I am not a cat. I am clearly a
just a big
tabaxi,
cat.
which are very different things.
I mean, you've got paws and a tail like a cat. Your face looks like a cat.
Okay, but I am bipedal. My limbs are different structure. I have different genitalia than a cat. I
I've never
speak.
seen a raccoon.
I have a
stand
larger
with this.
brain than a cat.
Septimus, is there anything you'd like to do while the two of them argue?
Looking at the poison one while they're arguing over the fire one, thinking about that Doval wanted one alive.
Mm-hmm.
And about to interject, saying, "Oh, we can keep one alive, so we can give to Dovala." He just gets overwhelmed a bit with like anger at it, and just it being an elemental in general. That he'll raise his hammer and just crush it upon him.
The acid one or the fire one?
The acid one.
Okay. So as the two of you are arguing, you just hear the... as Septimus has put the acid one out.
Okay, so we're killing them. Fine, that's good with me. I'm gonna stand back. Jacques takes like 10, 15 feet back and fires a crossbow into the head of the other one. But warns his friends, be clear, it might explode again.
No, and as you do, it's an unconscious elemental. It doesn't take much. It does not explode. They just both kind of wither away and melt into the earth. Like they don't there's no body left after they die.
Jacques walks over and pulls his bolt out of the ground to put back in his Bolt holder.
Quiver. It's still called quiver.
Oh.
Fearn removes the bench and kneels down next to what's left of the raccoons and just kind of says something under his breath, and nothing else. Just stands up, puts the sword away.
Fearn, because you go over and do this, you would find that while, yes, most of their bodies have dissipated into the earth, there is left over a hardened heart of each one. The acid one is clearly kind of like bubbling over with acid out of the arteries of the heart, but it is somewhat calcified. And then the same thing with the fire one is kind of like this. It almost looks like a molten rock or obsidian with some molten energy underneath. As all that remains of the raccoons is their hearts. Similarly, Sass, around the remains of the one that you shattered into ice, you would also find this hardened green heart that has kind of this mist coming out of it.
Cool.
Yeah, I think Fearn would try and snatch those up before anybody else does. Like, even the one that's near,
Well,
Saz.
as you start picking them up, Jacquet goes, what do you have there, Fearn? Something you left behind?
Nothing important to you.
Well, do you think they could be worth something? Septimus?
They're worth something, but not in a market.
Do you have any use for this? And I'll indicate the heart to Septimus. And Bruce, did you come back? Are you back now or not yet?
No, I'm still.
If she's holding the heart out, I'm gonna try and snatch it from her hands as I'm holding the other two.
Do you try to keep it?
Rude. Yeah,
you try to keep
I'm
it,
giving
Sass?
it. Yeah, I want to give it to Septimus.
Okay, so go ahead and give me a sleight of hand check, Fearn. And
Seeing the way Fearn wants this, Jacquet slinks over to the fire captain that he killed and takes its heart.
you do find the molten heart.
I got a 20 on sleight of hand.
Yeah, Sass, you can give me a sleight of hand as well.
You got it. Natural one.
So Fearn, you're easily able to, even though Sass, you kind of like pull your hand away, Fearn gets it before you pull it close to you and takes it and has the three he has, and you're able to get the other one, Jacquet, and like Jacquet, it's like warm to the touch, it doesn't burn. And you can see kind of like it looks like it actually kind of looks like a really dirty oil lantern. It almost looks like it's made of glass, and there's a little fire behind the soot that you can see. Same thing with the one you have, Fearn, and then you have the one that has that gentle poisonous mist coming out, not in a large enough quantity to poison you, unless you just puffed it. And then the acidic one just kind of boils over a little bit with this foamy acid. But, you know.
What the fuck, Fearn?
I walk off from the group a little ways away, and I don't think I would have noticed, him take the other heart. I wasn't fighting that monster, so it wasn't like, it was in my periphery, but like, I could have just like, I don't even know that it was dead. It could have just run off. So I assume that. But I go off and find a tree, and I dig a hole near the roots of the tree, and I bury the hearts there.
So the rest of you kind of gather together, looking peculiarly towards Fearn as he's gone off towards that main tree in the glade and digs a small hole with his hands and places the hearts there, closing them up.
I will follow him.
Okay.
Going back to what one Sass was saying, is like he can keep the hearts, but as he's following him, as I see him that he's digging a hole, I'll walk behind him, approach, and I'll say, "You can keep the hearts, but I insist you don't bury them in my property. I want nothing to do with these things anymore."
Very well. I'm not sure they'd want to be laid to rest here if they weren't welcome anyway.
They were once.
What happened?
Not the time. We have more to get rid of.
And Septimus, I imagine, walks away at this, as you can keep the hearts for a proper burial elsewhere. Fearin, as a lot of you begin to wander through the barricade that's been burned away mostly. Thank you for the other raid, double back-to-back raids, Mimics and Misfits, and Emporium Wayward Gamer. We are coming to the end of tonight's session, but we really appreciate you coming by with your raids. The 5 of you begin to wander away. Eventually, Sal brings Bruce back.
Yeah, so after that conversation, I'll go find Sal and be like, you could stop running now.
You're muted, Alex.
Jesus. Oh, God. And Bruce is like pulling twigs out of his cloak, like just all the brush and crap that Sal was running through. God.
And as you all gather... What?
No, I was just gonna confirm that those fuckers are dead.
So, as you all gather together and maybe more carefully tread through the barricade, you see Sal picks up a plank of wood from the pile. And Septimus, you kind of walk over and see him holding this plank. And you can see scrawled in poorly written letters. Not quite correct. Some of it's backwards, left and right. Raccoon Town.
Oh, God, no.
I look and I say, see, they can speak. They can even write.
And that is where we're going to end tonight.
Raccoon Town.
As you have approached the homestead, which they have seemingly the raccoons have renamed Raccoon Town and have taken over Septimus's farmlands. You were able to defeat 4 of the raccoons here. Last you knew Septimus, there were 4 or 5 more, and then as you would call the shaman raccoon. And you are going to approach to defeat the rest of these raccoons and reclaim your homestead. But thank you everyone for joining us here in Paradise. Please join us again next Monday at 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. We have had some tech goblin issues these first 2 sessions, but I think we have everything figured out now. So we should be able to be getting started on time so that we're not here till 10:30 and instead ending around 9:30, 10. Shannon will be working on getting the raw VOD up. We are currently scheduling those to be coming out on Thursdays. So if you need to catch up and you missed tonight's session, but you want to be caught up for next week, you'll be able to start on Thursday. We're also going to be...
First one's out too.
First video, yes, first VOD for episode 1 is already out. You can also watch the Sean and Shannon Power Hour VODs if you missed that, which does have a half-hour-ish recap within it if you're just trying to jump in and don't have time to catch up but want to be able to, keep up with the story. But this has been episode 2 of Adrift in Aldhalor. Thank you everyone so much. We are going to send a raid over to Better Than Heroes, who are playing Dungeons and Dragons. And we hope you join us for more programming. This week is going to be the first Relaxing in Paradise of the new season on Wednesday night, where I will be working on some stuff, probably some stuff for the battle map for next week. So if you want to get a sneak peek, come join us. Otherwise, have a good night. Say good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. And bye.